All right, once more we are recording. This is the Delisted podcast featuring your host Connor,
Augustine.
And Jessica.
and today we are discussing the greatest movie ever from 1993, directed by Rocky Morton and Annabelle Jankel, the unforgettable Super Mario Brothers.
What's there to say about this movie that hasn't already been said?
Well,
It's a classic.
the avenues on which the film has been discussed are not exactly mainstream avenues. I feel like a lot of our listeners might not have seen the movie or even be aware that it exists.
Or, hear me out, or they blocked it out from their brain and then when asked to rewatch again, remembered why they blocked it out from their brain. Just a
Mhm.
thought. Just a thought.
It's funny to me because this is not a low budget movie. This is an expensive movie with like custom built sets and vehicles and a high budget and animatronics. And yet it somehow got released and instantly fell into obscurity. And I think the reason is Jurassic Park came out like the next week. And they thought they were pretty slick with their one dinosaur animatronic in Super Mario Brothers. And then Jurassic Park just completely blew them out of the water.
I mean, Yoshi was the best part of this movie, so what does that tell you?
I mean, Yoshi was great, but to sum up the movie, here at the beginning of the podcast, it is a very loose adaptation of Super Mario Brothers, and it includes elements from the first four Super Mario games up through Super Mario World, and it features Mario and Luigi, Mario being portrayed by Bob Hoskins, and Luigi portrayed by John Leguizamo, and Samantha Mathis plays Princess Daisy, not Princess Peach, the princess from Super Mario Land, and their version of the Mushroom Kingdom, which is only referred to once as the Mushroom Kingdom, is actually a twisted version of New York, informally known as Dino Hatton, that's run by Dennis Hopper as King Koopa.
No, he's referred to as President Koopa.
Sometimes, but he refers to himself as King Koopa when he orders a pizza.
It doesn't matter. Fuck this movie.
Yeah. Like, he calls himself King Koopa sometimes. Toad sings a song. Toad is played by punk rock singer Mojo Nixon, yeah, as sort of a street busker character. Then he is captured and he is transformed into a this movie's version of a Goomba.
Okay, so get this. The voice actor for Homer Simpson is the narrator.
And the voice actor for Freddy from Scooby Doo does all of the creature noises.
Oh boy.
The world of voice acting is very small. That narration, let's just start from the beginning. Let's talk about that opening animated segment with the narration.
With the dinosaurs.
Yes, it takes place in Brooklyn 65 million years ago, and it has Dan Castellaneta doing a New York accent. Going, a long time ago, the Earth was ruled by dinosaurs. They were big, so not a lot of people went around hassling them.
Okay, you know what? This movie is a better is a better adaptation of Mad Max than it is a Super Mario Brothers movie.
It is, there was a version of the script
Uh,
because there were a million rewrites that they called the Mad Max script that focused on the vehicular combat a lot more heavily.
because that's what Mario Brothers was known for at the time.
Well, Mario Kart had come out like a year ago.
So
And
then you call it Super Mario Kart.
I think maybe the part where they're all fighting each other in cars, like, I don't know. And I feel like in order to get the context of this movie, we need to know about a show called Max Headroom from the 1980s. Now, are you familiar with that at all, Jessica or Augustine?
No.
I know about Max Headroom. I never saw whatever show he's
Okay.
from.
So, Jessica, just for your context, could you Google Max Headroom right now and look at the picture? And he may look familiar to you.
I mean, honestly, Connor, I mostly know about Max Headroom because of the guy who wore the mask and
Oh
hacked
yeah,
the
that was a whole
television.
thing.
Yeah, the
So
signal
for,
hijacking.
for others benefit,
Oh, the hairstyle?
he looks like King Koopa, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And it's
I
Rocky
mean,
Rocky Morton and Annabelle Jankel. They were British film directors, and long story short, they were doing a show, a music video show, and they wanted a host to introduce the music videos. And their idea was a computer animated video host, but computer animation was not at that level yet. So they literally hired an actor and put a bunch of prosthesis on him so that he looked like a badly done computer rendered version of a person and had him host the music videos. And he would like pretend to glitch out and repeat certain words. And like it was kind of a strange look. And weirdly, the network loved him so much they paid to have a TV movie made that was like his origin story. And it was like this cyberpunk dystopia movie about a news reporter who gets injured, so they upload his brain into a computer and create like a computer facsimile of him to host music videos. And then that got spun off into a TV show in America, which was like every week the evil corporation would have some new plan, and Max Headroom and his human alter ego would have to work together in order to stop the evil corporation that week.
I love how the plot's about an oligarchy of television networks, and now they're just fighting for survival in modern day.
It's true. And well, the true irony, I think, is the pilot. The network's evil scheme is they have something called a blipvert, and it's a subliminal advertisement that in 90% of people will make you want to buy the product, but in 10% of people just causes you to die.
I feel
And the
like
network,
10% is way too high
well, it might not be
for
10.
that
I
kind of
don't quote me
device.
on the exact percentage, but
Okay, okay.
basically the network has determined it's an acceptable loss because the ads are effective on the people that they don't kill. And Max Headroom and his human self, whose name I don't know, um, have to stop this company from their evil person killing advertisements. And then the Max Headroom character was so popular, he got licensed out to commercials. Like he was in ads for New Coke, and it's like your show was about how ads kill people, and now he's in real commercials.
Okay, and now back to Super Mario Brothers. They basically adapted that and put it in their fucking Super Mario Brothers movie.
Basically, yeah, it's the same directors, Rocky Morton and Annabelle Jankel, and they got hired because Max Headroom was like the hot thing in the 80s. And this was the 90s. So like they were already a little bit behind. Um
More than a little.
yeah, and they actually hired the production designer or a production designer who had worked on Blade Runner. And once you know that, it becomes very clear because you look at this movie and you look at the city from Blade Runner and it's very very similar looking.
I mean, this th- it, everything is wrong with this movie, honestly. I will say that Hoskins and John Leguizamo do an okay job with what they're given, but most of this movie is just like, why?
You know, the unsung hero is I noticed there was a dialect coach in the credits, and Bob Hoskins, he's an Englishman, and he never at any
Mhm.
point drops the accent. Like even in Roger Rabbit, if you guys have seen that, he loses his Brooklyn accent partway in that movie. He starts you can hear the English accent sometimes, and I don't think that happens even once in this movie.
So, you know how I keep making fun of this movie because Bob Hoskins is a 50-year-old man playing a 24-year-old character?
Okay,
At
because
least according
Nintendo
to Nintendo
they
now,
insist that Mario's
Mario's
24.
24. Well, if
God,
you look at edited images without the mustache, his modern day look looks like a younger
he's a
man,
giant
right?
baby without the mustache.
Yeah, he just looks like baby Mario.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe because that's the only mustacheless Mario we've ever seen, my mind just defaults to that. But this is not a young Mario in this film. In fact, this Mario raised Luigi.
Because John Leguizamo was like 29 when this movie came out.
Well, they were afraid to have like an old lead, so they actually had Luigi be the one with the romance with the princess.
If they were afraid of
I
an
was
older lead. Oh wait, go ahead, Jessica.
no, I was like literally gonna say like you couldn't like cause think about it like realistically, they know realistically Mario is not like a young like based off I don't even know. Like I want to say they did like research or care, but like
Well, the
I
thing
don't
is,
know.
there's a lot of like little sideways references to the games. So like somebody who was there was doing research and cared, but maybe not the people in charge. Because
They
if you
weren't
look at
in
the
charge of the
sets,
script.
like the tattoo parlors, there's Hammer Brothers Tattoo, and there's a bar called Bullet Bills, and there's a store
Mhm.
called Thwomp, and then like the little cartridges they put inside their shoes look like Bullet Bills, and the Babom or Bob-omb, depending on how you care to pronounce it, is like the only character that made it into the movie relatively unchanged.
I mean, yeah, but
Yeah.
well, aside from being super tiny,
Well, yeah,
but
yeah, but
but
he
it's
he
still
like
a bomb. It
he's
still does
recognizably the same thing.
it does the exact same thing it does in the games. It blows up.
And the Sniffets ended up becoming like this weird S&M thing. You know, the Sniffets, they're like shy guys, but they fire little things out of their face.
Hmm.
And they're running the garbage truck, which is called a sludge gulper in this world. And they're like wearing this bizarre BDSM gear instead of like looking like the Sniffets.
Because when I think of Super Mario Brothers, I think of BDSM gear.
Yeah, and they took the Goombas in a completely opposite direction because instead of being a
Oh
big old
my,
head with tiny feet, they're a giant body with a teeny tiny head.
I know,
and they
isn't that
have
so weird?
arms and hands this time. I
Isn't that
mean,
so weird?
And they're wearing like stormtrooper outfits. And like the way Goombas came into being, just for the sake of our listeners, is President Koopa, who seized power in this world by taking over from the king. He has this thing called the Devolution Chamber. And when he sticks you in it, he can de-evolve you, which sometimes turns you into fungus and sometimes into primordial ooze, but mostly just turns people into like brainwashed soldiers for him, which are Goombas.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say that in a 2007 interview, Hoskins said Super Mario Brothers was the worst thing he ever did.
And he said that Rocky Morton and Annabelle Jango is two directors whose arrogance had been mistaken for talent. He was admittedly drunk for most of the filming of the movie.
So was John Leguizamo.
Yeah. Oh, and he hurt his hand near the beginning of shooting, so in a lot of shots he's got a flesh-colored cast on over his hand. Somebody slammed a car door on his hand, and I don't know when that happened
Oh
because have you noticed
no.
that the Mario Brothers van in the real world has no doors?
yes.
Like
Well,
at
you
the
know what?
beginning.
I didn't really notice because there's so much weird shit in this movie that
Yeah.
it just that's on the lower end of weird.
That's
But like let's
spiky.
break it down. Let's talk for a while about the beginning section of the film, which features the Mario Brothers living in Brooklyn,
Hmm.
working as plumbers, although Luigi is just apprenticing. And our big opening is Luigi is watching a show called Miraculous World on TV because Luigi's a dreamer and he believes in all sorts of crazy things, right?
Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
then
He's
they get
the
a
young hopeful one.
yeah, he's the young hopeful and Mario's the cynical one. Also, they have a bunch of plungers that they keep on the wall like hunting trophies or something.
Do you think they'd been used, or do you think they're just like they bought them for
I hope they're
decoration?
new. I hope they've at least been
But you
cleaned.
just said they're like hunting
Yeah,
trophies.
I know, it's weird. I think that they're every time they clean, like, a major clog, maybe they put the they put the
They just
plunger
make
they
sure to disinfect it first.
so they get a phone call, and Mario's like, "Mario Brothers Plumbing, no leak too small." And then we have one of the great fake phone calls. He's like, "No, no, it's not a big problem, just don't touch it." And then he goes to get Luigi,
Okay, I
and
will say this movie is not good, but it is entertaining.
it is, and
As long as you watch it for what it is, which is not Super Mario Brothers.
I mean, it's got some stuff to love in it, but he goes to get Luigi. They've got a broken dishwasher they have to fix, and he notices that Luigi has bought a tabloid magazine, and he's like, "Luigi, why are you buying these silly magazines?" And Luigi's like, "It's got the article about the missing girls from Brooklyn," which peppers in a running thing from this real world segment that girls have been going missing all over Brooklyn.
You know what? Like, I totally forgot about that part while we're watching
Well,
the
it kind of comes back
movie.
later, like at the end when Mario sees the girls
I
in the
know, but it's just so
It's just
like
not that important though,
I know, but it's
overall.
important for the beginning because it sets
Yes,
up.
it's important to set up, but it's not actually they're not really like the movie's not really about them trying to save the girls or anything.
I know, like they don't even realize about the other girls. Like that's the thing that's very confusing to me is Mario has a girlfriend in this movie named Daniela, who there's no precedent for her in any of the Mario games except maybe she's supposed to be the girl from Donkey Kong, but
But
even
then why
that's a
not just
stretch.
call her Pauline?
See, in the script apparently her name's Daniela Pauline, but like they don't ever tell you anybody's middle or her last name except
Also, do you know why they picked Princess Daisy instead of
oh, I do
Princess
know. Because
Toadstool?
at the time,
Princess
she didn't
Peach?
have the name Princess Peach in America, and they thought Toadstool was a weird name. And the only other name they had for a princess was Daisy from Mario Land.
I
And
guess that makes sense.
in the earlier scripts, her name was actually Hildy, which was based on nothing.
Princess Hildy.
So somebody
Okay.
intervened and was like, maybe we could actually use a name from the video game. And they're like, what? We can't call her Toadstool. And then they were like,
I
no.
mean, like, would it really be such a shock? Because it's like on the one hand, you have like, I guess, some elements of somebody who gave a fuck, but at the other time, it's just like nobody gave a fuck
It's like
about.
I feel like they gave a fuck about their own strange cyberpunk vision, but not very much about the video game. And it's like there's something similar in the first Superman movie. There's a part where like Clark Kent's a little kid or he's a teenager, and there's this girl who in the script is called like Mary Beth, who he has a crush on. And then when they shot the actual movie, that girl was renamed to Lana because like Lana is a character from the comics. So it was clear the original scriptwriter had never read the comics, and at some point someone stepped in and was like, "You basically invented a character that already existed. Let's just change the name."
Wait, so I'm looking it up, and so in Japan, her name was always Princess Peach.
Yeah, but she was
So
Toadstool.
why was she renamed Toadstool?
I don't know. It's
What's
very
wrong with
strange.
Princess Peach?
And you notice in Mario Kart, the first one, and in the second Super Mario Brothers game where you can play as her, they kind of deliberately just refer to her as Princess. They never give like a name because they were embarrassed that they chose Toadstool as her name. And
Yeah, that's bizarre.
I guess it was to fit with the mushroom, like, because in Japan the Goombas are called chestnuts, and she's a peach, and nothing is mushroom themed, and it's very irritating. I
That
forget.
kind of makes sense, being called chestnuts.
Well, yeah, they look more like chestnuts than mushrooms, but
And the
Mhm.
Koopa Troopas are called Noko Noko, apparently.
yeah, I think that's like an
Noko Noko.
onomatopoeia. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. That's kind of the noise they make in like the 3D Mario games.
That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So is
Mhm.
Daisy supposed to be a fucking reptile or a
She is. She
fungus?
is. She got hatched from an egg at the beginning. Didn't you see that? And remember
I
when
try
Koopa
to
confronts
forget.
her, and she's like, "You've always," he's like, "You've always suspected you were a little different." He goes, "I've suspected a lot of things, but not that I." He goes, "That you were descended from the dinosaur."
No, because it wouldn't be a 90s movie without somebody being sexually assaulted.
I
Jesus
know
fucking
that
Christ.
tongue thing that he does.
Oh
Oh my
yeah,
god!
that
Ugh.
was all weird and creepy.
And he's like, "Yoshi is a pet of the royal family. You may pet him if you wish. Just
Wait,
don't
but
move your hand like a
why
small."
is he a pet if they're descended from the dinosaurs?
Well, the same reason that people have like pet chimps, I guess. I mean, some people have that.
But we're not directly descended from them,
Well, I
unlike
don't
Yeah,
what
think
the
that's
movie
actually a
presents.
I
misconception.
don't
Yeah,
think Yoshi represents an actual species of ancient dinosaur. He's a modern evolution, the same way a chimp is from the same roots
yeah, that
species.
makes more sense.
I
But
mean, because those
I
little
don't know.
tiny dinosaurs that are like on the streets.
All
Here's
right, let's not talk about the evolution of dinosaurs
well, I think we
relative
have
to this
to
film because
because
it doesn't make it. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's weird dimensional crap.
I do love the explanation we get for de-evolution. It's like, well, evolution is where things evolve. De-evolution works the opposite way, and that's the only that's the only
that's
explanation we ever get.
that's not how evolution works, but okay.
And what's kind of interesting is the scene in the Devo chamber. Did you notice that there's suddenly just like a bunch of brown crap on the floor in one of the shots, and like Koopa slips in it?
Mm,
See, I think,
yeah, okay.
Connor, with you, you're just focusing on all the other, like, like the fuck, what is it called? Like things that, oh, they forgot to do this in the shot or whatever. I don't know, but for me, when I was watching, I was like just constantly questioning why the fuck I was
No, it's
watching.
because Connor
Because
loves
you were
this
having
movie
a
so
good
much.
time. Yeah,
He
it's a
loves
great
this
movie.
movie so much that he all the stuff that's like the big shit that's really weird to everybody who's not as familiar with the movie just like goes over his head because he's focusing on all the tiny production stuff.
Well, this may be relevant. I have here a toy that I bought off eBay of the Goomba,
Mm-hmm.
and they added a little bit of flavor text here in the back, to try and flesh out the world that they added to the toys. So it's like a fake newspaper here on the back. It says Dino Hatton Times. Um, all the news that fits, and it's a picture of a Goomba, sort of a rendition. It says Society Hit Parade, and it gives us this description. In this portion of the Times, we honor a citizen of Dino Hatton who has made a statement, left an impression, stood out above the rest, been different. These good people are not necessarily good. Some are, some aren't. You be the judge. This day we honor the Goomba. Hometown, Dino Hatton. Occupation, elite guard. Height, 7 foot, 4 inch. Personality traits, lethal, loyal, and stupid. Favorite song, Somewhere My Love. Nickname, Pursehead. Ancestors, dinosaurs. Motto, walk tall, be proud, be a Goomba. And his contribution to society is listed as faithful to Koopa.
Is that really a contribution to society, though?
No. But I mean, a lot of stuff from the movie here in this flavor text because they list his favorite song is "Somewhere My Love," and you may remember Luigi's ingenious plan to distract the Goombas is that when they're in the elevator, "Somewhere My Love" comes on as elevator music and the theme from Doctor Zhivago, and he gets the Goombas to dance to it.
I'm just looking at the trailer for the Super Mario Brothers movie,
Oh, the
and
one that has "I Got the Power" on it.
I have the sound off, so I have no idea. But I'm just staring at their costumes once they actually get in the
Oh
costumes.
yes, it takes
Like,
till about
the-
the final half hour of the movie
yes, it is like the last 31 minutes or something.
for them to even
That was
resemble Mario and Luigi from the game.
Like
well, that
really
was
badly too.
even like that was even frustrating watching it as like, in the before they even got into said costume, like their color schemes were switched, which was annoying. Like
Luigi was
you're
wearing
making
red,
Luigi wear a red jacket
And
and
then
you're
when they
making
wear the suits, Luigi's wearing the red suit, and
and
Mario's
Mario's
wearing a
yellow.
yellow suit for some reason.
And he's like, "Who's this for?
yeah.
A canary?" It's just God. But they go to a
Oh,
nightclub at one point in the movie because, all right, so I think we need to get some basic exposition out of the way. The key MacGuffin of the movie, the thing everybody wants, is a piece of the meteorite that struck the Earth and caused the dinosaurs to go extinct. Because within the world of this movie, that meteorite actually split our world into two parallel worlds. One of which consists only of the general New York area, and the rest of it is a total desert. And that's where the dinosaurs lived, and they evolved into human-like creatures. And the other world is just our regular world. But if the piece of the meteorite that chipped off is merged, and the meteorite is whole again, our worlds will also merge, and the dinosaur people will be in the real world, able to take over.
it's just a shit show.
Well, Princess Daisy has the meteorite piece, and that's why they're trying to kidnap her. Because in addition to having the piece, only she has the power to not die when she sticks it in, which is remarkable compassion from Koopa. He's not just going to sacrifice someone to merge the worlds, which is just a strange.
That's just really out of character.
Yeah, like that thing with Lena, like she steals the rock, gets caught, is released, steals the rock again. Like you can tell there were rewrites at some point because stuff like repeats in this movie.
Honestly, what's the point of Lena? Like,
Well,
who
Is she
cares?
supposed to be Rosalina, or was that character not
Rosalina wasn't
No,
even
around until
no,
was
2007.
yeah, yeah.
okay? So like, so I can't even make that as a connection. So
Like
it
No.
only
was just
some of
like
these
a random
characters.
ass character.
Like Bertha, there's a fish called Bertha in Super Mario Brothers 3, but like it's a stretch to say that the character from the movie is based on that character.
Mhm.
And then like Spike and Iggy, who are Koopa's cousins in this movie, they're his two idiot minions. There is a bad guy named Spike who throws like balls at you in Super Mario Brothers 3 and Super Mario World. And one of the
Mhm.
Koopalings, one of Koopa's children, is named Iggy Koopa. So I feel like that's where those names came from, but only Iggy really makes sense because it should be one of the other Koopalings if they're supposed to be his relatives.
I mean, this whole movie was kind of a stretch.
Eh,
It's a stretch to call this a Super Mario Brothers movie.
I know. Honestly, I think it's fun as kind of like a bizarre cyberpunk kids movie. The absolute crazy thing to me is like,
It's not even like all that great for kids though, with
yeah, there
some of
were
the stuff
rewrites
that
at the very
happens.
last minute to try and make it more kid friendly, but they'd already built all the sets and designed all the costumes. So
Maybe
people
don't
are
hire
wearing
the person who did Blade Runner.
Yeah,
The
people are
Blade
wearing like
Runner
spiky
sets.
fetish gear and like the world is like this dark dystopian world, but then the music is like da 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 and like my god, the thing that I really loved about the dialogue is they were just like they would say these like grade school level insults to each other with such conviction. Like Mario's like, "We gotta talk to this goofball." It's just like, oh god. And then King Koopa is like talking to the king. He goes, "You slime bucket." It's like these
Just
like
doesn't fit.
these fifth grade level insults, but they're delivering them like they're in a David Mamet play, like they're swearing at each other. It's just it's like this Koopa clown is one evil egg sucking son of a snake. And it's like, "You're Koopa, but you just said you're an evil egg-sucking son of a snake." Did I lie?
Okay, and this is exactly why Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo were drunk the whole time.
No. But another thing that I noticed because I've watched this movie too many times is just there's weird mismatches in the dialogue. Like, you could tell that they rewrote it but didn't quite change everything to fit. Because, like, near the beginning, Luigi's like, "I bet that sea turtles navigate thousands of miles on instinct." And it's like, "You bet that?" And then later Toad is like, "What's another word that rhymes with?" And Mario's answer is like, "Yeah," even though it's not a yes or no question. Just like little lines don't match up to other lines throughout this movie.
And
Yeah,
characters don't match with characters from the game. Color
Well,
schemes
that's
all
true,
off.
but keep in
The
mind at this
cyberpunk
point,
thing, it was just like trying to put two or three different things into one, and it just didn't work.
it
Like I can appreciate like the costuming and the design set because at that time, right? That's a lot of work that went into that. I'm
I
sure,
agree. All
absolutely,
practical effects
100%.
except for Koopa at the end, he was CG and he didn't look great. But
Right. Like, I can appreciate that, but if you wanna do, like, a cyberpunk movie, then then fine, go
one
for it,
thing
but, like, please don't do it with fucking Super Mario because it just doesn't fit.
this happens all the time in Hollywood. People have their own original idea and the studio won't take a risk. So they like staple on some sort of existing property to their idea and they say, "Look, now it's an existing thing." And that's how they get it made. And that's why so many adaptations are absolutely nothing like the thing they're supposed to be adapting. Because people like can't make their own original thing, so they try and shoehorn it into whatever the studio will allow them to adapt.
It just felt like, like, for Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, like, those are both really good actors, and it was like they were just trying to take Bob Hoskins' character from Who Framed Roger Rabbit and just put it into Super Mario. Like, there's no distinction on, like, the
I would
behavior
say
and the
because
way he
like, with
talks.
Eddie Valiant and also he loses his
Mhm.
accent a couple times in Roger Rabbit, I wanna stress that. He hadn't perfected it yet. But with Eddie Valiant, you got the feeling that there was a real heart there, that, like, deep down he was a softie. Like, Mario, you don't get
Yeah.
that at all. Mario is, like, surprisingly gruff and violent for a children's movie hero. Like, it's like, "I'm gonna break every bone in their body, and then I'm gonna kill 'em."
Buddy.
and the construction company is headed by the mafia.
Oh yeah, originally in the old scripts, I know about the old drafts. He owed money to that guy, and that was like why he was featured so heavily. But then that kind of got lost. So yeah, the mafia is like their rival. Worth bringing up that cafe that calls them at the beginning. The Scapelli brothers plumbers get there before them, right? So did this cafe just like call two different plumbers and see who got there first?
It sounds like the dumbest shit, but
I
it's
know.
possible, I
Like, is
guess.
there like a plumber radio that they're listening in on, so that they can get
Uh,
to the jobs first?
I'm
Because this
looking
is
at
I don't know,
Wikipedia,
I
and I
guess
just, like, made the connection right now, and again, maybe because I really wasn't paying attention to every,
oh
like,
shame, shame.
dialogue. No, nothing against you. I was just still in shock, like, "The fuck am I watching?" I just realized that the Scapelli character, who we've only seen twice, is DK, and then now I make understand why the monkey thing. I
wait,
was
his
like,
Oh,
name
"What
was
that's a
Anthony DK
DK
Scapelli?
Scapelli,
his name is
yes,
not Anthony DK Scafella. Somebody on Wikipedia whimsically added that. I'm gonna
I
go look
think
at the
No,
end
that
credits
must be
so."
here.
the name in the script.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. Cause
That's
like,
the dumbest shit.
cause in the script he's just
He's
And
a
it
like
gorilla.
turns him into
Donkey
a
Kong is
monkey,
a
though.
gorilla. He's not a chimp.
in the
They
credits he's
turned
just
him
listed
into a
as
chimp.
yeah, in the
Are we
credits
really going to make that distinction? Well, he was a monkey or a gorilla. Like, the whole
they're
movie is just
close enough, but
sham.
in the credits he's just listed as Skip Helly. This DK thing is just some whimsical Wikipedia editor trying to make
Yeah,
things fit.
probably. But you know what? At least they're thinking more about the script than the script writers did,
God, Skip
apparently.
Helly. And then the thing is, okay, they refer to the two plumbers that work for his plumbing business as the Scapelli brothers. So, like, are they related to him, or are they just brothers who work for Scapelli? Not
Who
related.
knows?
But there was this whole scene where like Mario confronts the Scapelli brothers about stealing the job from him. That got cut because, frankly, it was pointless. But it was recently rediscovered. You can find clips of it online of Mario just kind of being passive aggressive at these other plumbers. Yeah, and his line, "Nobody touches my tools," made it into his talking action figure because there was merchandise for this. There was all sorts of merchandise, but it got cut from the actual movie.
Yep.
There's a line where he's like, "Grab your tool," or something about
Keep
like,
your tools by your side.
mm,
Treat them like a friend. Always be there for. It's like, how come for every situation that ever comes up, you always got to say about tools, huh? Because I got them from Pop. He got them from his Pop.
because fucking Mario uses tools.
Well,
The only tool he uses does it like it's a hammer. That's it. There's no wrench. I don't remember seeing
well,
a
yeah, but he's a
wrench.
That is
plumber. You got to
true.
make allowances for him being a plumber. They do more with him being a plumber in this movie than they ever did in the games. Like he uses a plunger to attack one of the Sniffets. He hits a guy with a wrench. He knocks out those pipes. And we talk about how he knocks out the heating system and that causes the building to freeze. Like that's a fundamental misunderstanding of how like anything works. You know, like my apartment wouldn't freeze if I turned off the heat. Like it has to also be cold.
See, this is why this should have been a cartoon. This should have been animated because then you could make stuff jokes like that, and you're like, whatever. It's not supposed to make sense. But when it's
Honestly,
live action, you kind of assume there's
because the animated
some
version of
reality.
Mario wasn't very good either. So I don't think we could.
No, no, no. Hey, like I said before, let's not let's not use that as our barometer for quality of an animated Super Mario Brothers
Oh my
film,
gosh.
like the
And
show.
the thing is, that show, the idea that the Mario brothers found a warp zone while working on a drain, that's how the theme song went. And that's how they ended up in the Mushroom Kingdom. I feel like that same idea was kind of taken by the movie. And also, the show was the first time that Mario was referred to as Mario Mario, which carries on over into this movie as well.
And is now official because it is
Well,
their
there's
last name.
conflicting reports because what's his name? Miyamoto in one interview at least said that they were actually mononymic, meaning they only have one name like
I have
Madonna.
one name. What the fuck?
It
But
honestly doesn't matter. It's a fucking fantasy. Who cares?
yeah,
Like
but Mario,
I never thought, hey, what's his last name? It doesn't matter.
when he's arrested, when he first gets to Dino Hatton, the world of dinosaurs that resembles New York, he gives his name in booking as Mario, and then his last name is Mario, revealing to us finally that they're called the Mario Brothers because Mario's their last name, and but also his first name is Mario,
Oh
and
yeah,
Luigi's full name
where
is Luigi
Luigi's
Mario.
Luigi Mario, and then the guy's
Yeah.
like, "So how many Marios is that between you?" And he's like, "That's 3."
Did you notice that there was like a hooker with like a high heeled shoe digging into that guy in that scene?
Yes, that I
Yeah.
did actually
There's
notice.
just a lot of really distracting stuff going on in the background of like every shot of this. Like even when they're at the Italian restaurant, there's a guy in the background like going nuts, like waving his arms around. And I'm like, is that just an extra who wouldn't behave, or is something supposed to be happening back there? I don't know.
Well, this is a kids movie, so I expect all these things
Well,
in a
the
kids
prison that
movie.
they go to that's like a dog kennel. Can we talk about that for a second? It's got like cages all up and down the wall.
Was this foreshadowing Bob Hoskins in the movie Unleashed?
Oh God, that movie. That movie is somebody's weird fetish, and you looked it up. It was Luc Besson that wrote it, so obviously.
So yeah, it is someone's creepy fetish.
Yeah. Speaking of creepy
Yeah.
fetish, sort of. They actually had to cut a lot of scenes in the nightclub because they hired strippers to be dancers in that scene. And according to at least one interview, the girls couldn't tone it down. Like nobody told them it was a family movie, so they were dancing far too suggestively, and they ended up having to cut around it. Like Iggy and Spike originally had a musical number where they rapped about King Koopa.
Oh, thank
Because
God that didn't make it in.
that wouldn't have made it. I didn't realize this movie was fucking an hour and 45
That's not that
long.
long. That's like, less than
It's
2
too
hours.
long for this
You
movie.
know what? It didn't
Well,
feel long to me though, because not much really happens.
They cut out a whole
Honestly,
lot of it in Brooklyn because the studio was very upset that it took the Mario so long to get to
to the
get.
not Mushroom Kingdom.
Well, he refers to it
literally.
in one and only one scene as the Mushroom Kingdom, and I got hyped from that. You remember when Koopa's talking to the king and he goes, "Well, you can choke your little Mushroom Kingdom all you want."
Yeah, but this isn't the Mushroom Kingdom. This is like
Well, it's
Mad
got
Max cross Blade Runner.
Daisy is the princess, so it might be their version of Sarasaland. Although
Well, then they fucked up Sarasaland too.
I don't think anyone even remembers that Daisy's from Sarasaland except
It
me
does.
and the developers of Smash Brothers.
I don't think most people care about Daisy, honestly.
Her single player mode in Smash Ultimate is called Sarasaland. Represent.
I wonder if that's the name of the Japanese version too.
Her color scheme was off too. Like it was just so frustrating.
Well,
Just
because she had the pink dress instead of the yellow one, like Daisy has in the games.
and her hair, she was blonde with fucking purple dress, just and just oh my god, it was just so
It
it
was
was just
purplish pinkish.
frustrating
I feel like
to
her outfit was
watch.
the closest to the actual game. Like, there's a part near the end where, like, you
Mhm.
see a shot of the Mushroom Kingdom characters as the Mario Brothers leave, and it's like Yoshi and the princess and Toad all standing next to each other, and they look, it really throws into sharp relief how much they don't look like their characters from the game.
Absolutely.
And
Like it's just so I don't know, frustrating to watch. And I remembered why I kept it in the back of my brain,
and
never to be seen
so
again.
you had seen it before,
I had seen it before,
and
but
you
it had
repressed it.
been I repressed it.
And it's like you can distinguish Toad because after he gets turned into a Goomba by Koopa and he's no longer punk rock singer Mojo Nixon, they put a harmonica over his neck. So that way you can tell him apart from the other Goombas. And weirdly, okay, so the king, he magically turns back when Koopa dies. Like for no reason at all. So I guess it works on the logic that you're only de-evolved until King Koopa dies, but then Toad is still a Goomba.
I honestly think that was just them. They forgot how it worked, or they thought, you know what, this movie they already want this to be shorter, so
Just
fuck it, we're not gonna have a scene where they evolve them back or
and
whatever.
then like Lance Henriksen is the king. He has
I know that was
probably
so bizarre, wasn't it?
It was. He had the
I thought it was
lamest gag
bizarre.
though, where he's supposed to be coughing out fungus, and he's very clearly just got it in his hand, and he's like, "Ugh!" And the fungus flakes everywhere. Like he
Yeah.
holds up a
Do you
clearly
think they
full
only got
hand.
him because he was in Aliens?
Well, I don't think every time he's in a movie it's a reference to aliens. Like he
But
is
do
a
you think
working
in this
actor.
film it was a reference to him being in
I
Aliens?
don't really see how it's a reference. He was like a weird
Because
robot.
the fungus looks like the weird goose shit in the Alien movies that
That's a
the
stretch.
xenomorphs make. I
That's
don't
a
think it's that much of a
big ol'
stretch.
stretch.
No, it looks kinda like
Dude,
the
you're
queen's
gonna
egg
pull a
sac.
muscle. You're gonna pull a muscle with all that stretching you're doing.
No, I genuinely think he's only in this movie because it was an Aliens reference.
It's the most obtuse reference.
I know it is, that's why it's so bizarre. That's what I'm saying. I think it is, but it's also such a bizarre reason to put him in there. Okay, well,
Oh, but
I
then
mean, bizarreness in this movie go hand in hand, so
at the end of the movie, Luigi's watching Miraculous World again. It's sort of a little bookend, and somehow the host of Miraculous World knows about everything that happened and reports about the how they saved the day and says, "I'd call them the Super Mario Brothers."
and they're like, "Yeah!"
Yeah, we're on Miraculous World. Mario, come quick, we're on Miraculous World. And then the princess bursts in with a gun, and it's like, Mario, Luigi, I need your help again. It's like, aren't you in charge of a whole army now? Like maybe you should. Like I
Well,
understand that she
apparently they
needed
suck,
them.
so
She needed them out of necessity last time. They were just like the only people she knew, but now she's specifically seeking out two random plumbers. And that's our sequel hook that sadly hasn't been followed up on yet. But remember, Tron came out in 1982, and the sequel to Tron didn't hit until 2009. So, what is that? 17 years? This year is
um
17 years after that movie came
Oh
out.
god.
Wait, no, it's not. It's 27 years. Oh my gosh. Oh my
okay,
gosh.
well, regardless, the next Super Mario Brothers movie will not be following this up.
I
It's
really
going
hope
to
it
be
does.
no, it's going to be an animated film. So
They're just
your
gonna throw
dreams have been
everyone a
shot.
curveball.
Go read the comic that
Oh
they
yeah, they
made.
did a sequel comic. I
Go
can't
read that
even.
sequel comic.
Like,
With the fucking cyberpunk aesthetic.
yes, and they have to go back and help the princess, give the princess a hand in the mushroom land.
Do you
Oh
think
gosh.
that Nintendo should reference this movie in the next Mario Brothers as like a cyberpunk dystopia world?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, they
Like
totally
what, a
should.
Mario game where you go into other realities, like other variations, and this is the weirdest one.
Honestly, what I'd pay $1 million for is just an outfit in Mario Odyssey that looks like his outfit from the movie.
Actually would be pretty great.
Yeah. You
You know
remember
what? You know what? New Dunk City in Odyssey was just testing grounds
for Dino Hatton?
for them having Dino Haddon in the mainline games.
Do you think they trademarked Dino Hatton? Like, do you think anybody cares, or someone else
I
probably
I
did?
don't
don't
think
think
they.
anyone really
I
cares.
don't think anyone's paying for the fucking trademark on that name.
No. Oh, something that got lost in the many, many rewrites is at the beginning when the original queen has Daisy as like an egg and she drops her off at the orphanage and she's being chased by Koopa. We were supposed to have a scene where Koopa saw New York and he was so enamored by it that when he gets back and he takes over, he like tries to force them to rebuild his world to look more like New York. Like he's the equivalent of a weeb, but instead of for Japan, it's for New York City. And that was their explanation for why Dino Hatton looked so much like Manhattan.
That's
Do we
pretty
really need
dumb.
any more explanations in this movie? Like
You
the
wanted you were just fine with it, and then he was building like his own twin towers, which is very awkward watching now, but and it's not completed yet. Like half of the top half of the second tower is missing. And then when our worlds begin to merge, the twin towers turn into his tower and like part of the twin tower just like vanishes.
Yeah, anytime the Twin Towers, like the World Trade Center pops up in like a movie pre 2001, I just feel weird.
And then the one guy goes, "Those guys will
Mhm.
do anything for publicity." What the hell is he talking about? Like literally, what is he talking about?
Can we talk about Yoshi being stabbed
Oh my
by
gosh,
a
but
no-name character?
Yoshi's okay later though, so that's fine.
Yeah, yeah, apparently getting stabbed didn't do shit to Yoshi,
Like
so
it's
it's
an
fine.
amazing animatronic. His eyes blink, he makes facial expressions, he acts with his little hands. Like
He's one of the best actors in the film.
I completely buy him as a character. Like I look at him and I don't just see a puppet, I see like a character in the movie. You know, he's very expressive. The puppets are very expressive in this movie. Even the Goomba heads. Like think of how tiny those things are and how many different facial expressions they can make and how detailed like their mouths and their teeth are. Like there's a lot of work put into the effects of this movie and it's kind of a shame that, you know,
That it's in
It's
this
just
movie.
really
yeah.
sad. Yes. Again, you if you wanted to do a cyberpunk movie, go for it. But like for fuck's sake, man.
All these fun little touches. Like did you notice at the beginning there's a cop like trying to get shoes down from a street light, but he looks like one of those lizards that like climbs on branches.
Well,
Maybe. I
I don't
don't
know.
remember.
Now, do you
My
think that
brain.
do you think Disney will fight to have this on Disney Plus?
Probably not. Now, for your benefit, Jessica, Disney purchased Hollywood Pictures in the middle of filming this movie. And they
Mm,
came in and they wanted changes made. They wanted it to be more kid friendly. And that's the reason that the movie was being rewritten up to the last minute and why the tone of the
mm.
movie is so very different from what it looks like it should be. like
I
like
tried to type this movie into my Roku just to really see, because I know
No.
obviously I know
Yeah,
you sent me the link and
yeah,
but
but
I was like, let me see,
there's
let me
no
just
legit way.
try.
There's no
There's just
legit way.
they're trying to
nothing.
hide this
I'm
from
lucky enough to have the
the public.
DVD. My beautiful wife got it for me as a birthday present because I watched my old DVD so much I wore it out.
Wait, this was a birthday present?
Yeah. You helped her shop for it, Augustine.
uh, oh, it was okay. I remember that, but
Yeah.
still, like why would you want this as a birthday gift?
Because I
This is
love
like what you
this
get for
movie.
somebody who you want to insult
We're
on
talking
their
about how
birthday.
like it features the music from the first Super Mario Brothers for like 5 seconds at the beginning and then never again.
Connor,
Never again, yep.
you're one of the rare Mario Brothers fans who can be gifted this movie and you're like, "Wow, what a great gift."
Well, I think the big contradiction with me is I absolutely love this movie, but I'm not big on Super Mario World. I don't think that's a very good game.
You also don't like Yoshi.
Yeah, Yoshi is always like superfluous. I think this is the best use of Yoshi. It's
That's
like,
your hot take for the
yeah,
week.
in Mario
Is this
Sunshine,
animatronic Yoshi is the best Yoshi.
Mario Sunshine was the first time I saw Yoshi, and he's just useless in that game, right? And then he shows up again in Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Brothers Wii, New Super Mario Brothers Wii, and he's just like kind of extraneous. He's not necessary. And I thought, well, maybe in Super Mario World he'll be like intrinsic to the gameplay. Nope, he's just kind of a random extra thing you find sometimes. And it's like
Not,
I
not
have this
today.
feeling they add Yoshi to the games when they've run out of ideas. They're like, what can we do? I don't know, fucking add Yoshi.
I mean, you know what? Let's just make this really cyberpunk aesthetic. Let's just make that into a new Paper Mario
Oh
game.
my gosh, Paper Mario, but it's like this. I would love that. But you know what? My vision for this movie is it should be like a beat 'em up game like Final Fight. Because that would be the perfect video game style to capture this movie.
And are one of your power-ups the weird boots they wear to fly around?
Yeah, the Stompers, that was their way of because in the game they jump much higher than a normal human would. And of course, everybody playing the game was like, "But how are they jumping so high? I need to know." So of course, the movie added an explanation, which is that they have these robotic boots called Stompers, and you load little cartridges in them, and then you click your heels together, you just shoot up in the air. And oddly enough, like once they get their costumes, their Mario costumes, Mario never uses the stompers while he's in costume.
Just another indication of why this movie it's not very good.
And they take the time to set up the fireball gun, like as an explanation of the fireballs from the game. But then the Mario Brothers at no point in the movie ever use the fireball guns.
Do you think that was in some cut footage?
Probably. I mean, did you notice that the Toad Goomba is the only Goomba that speaks like intelligibly? All the other Goombas just grunt, but you can understand what he's saying.
Well, he was more important.
He was.
That's why.
And he had like the swirly pattern on his head to mimic the swirly haircut that Toad had when he was human or dinosaur person. The music by Alan Silvestri, best known for doing the music for Back to the Future, which honestly is a much better soundtrack. You
Okay.
notice that going off basically nothing but Mario and Luigi are Italian, he included Funiculi, Funicula multiple times in the soundtrack. The da 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 da.
Well, neither of these actors are actually Italian, though.
Well, no, but like that was his way of like he's just like he knew nothing except the characters were Italian. So that was how he captured that. And then that song was actually by let me see here, Luigi Denza. So there's our Luigi connection.
You know what? I'm just happy Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo got work after this movie.
I know. I
Gosh.
was thinking the
I
same
mean,
thing.
Bob Hoskins wasn't really in that much after this movie. He showed up in Danny the Dog and he was in Hook. I think Hook was that same year. No, Hook was like right after. But after Hook, I don't think I saw him in very much.
Well, he actually, I'm looking at his filmography. He did a lot of work actually after this film.
John Leguizamo was just starting out. And what's kind of sad about this movie is John Leguizamo is like the only surviving male lead.
Mm, why? Because everyone's old?
Well, I guess Dennis Hopper died. Bob Hoskins died.
Hmm.
Samantha Mathis is I think still around, and Lena, she was actually on the show Fleabag not long ago. Oh, and she's Aunt Petunia from the Harry Potter movies.
Yep.
Oh
Was Lena?
my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah.
Sorry.
Was
I,
was that character based on anybody from the games? I don't
I
think
don't
so,
think
right?
so. No, no, she's just an original. She's like Koopa's girlfriend who's very jealous of the princess. Also, we passed the Bechtel test in this movie, if you noticed.
I didn't notice because, well, I was thinking about other things going on in this film.
Yes, the Bechtel test is do two named female characters talk to each other about something besides a man? And near the beginning, Danielle is offering to give Daisy some free tans at the tanning salon. So, there we go. And then later, Lena is trying to murder Daisy. And in both those instances, we passed the test.
Okay, but she's trying to murder
I was
Daisy
gonna
because of she's
say
jealous over a man.
Well, it's true, but she's not
exactly.
talking about a man.
Okay, so that's the
But in any case, the,
technicality.
the tanning salons are how we pass.
Oh boy. So
I think
progressive.
there should be like a quotation or asterisk, something other than a man. I think they have to be talking to each other that isn't incited for male purposes.
For male
If that makes
purposes.
sense.
So you
Yes,
view the
she's only
entire
talking.
concept of going to a tanning salon as a
Well, she's only talking to her because of fucking King Koopa. I don't know. Maybe I'm being that asshole in the room, but
I don't know how you could say these mean things about the Mario movie.
I
I don't know.
mean,
It's just a delightful movie film, movie f- here to make people laugh and spread joy, and you're just here like not here for it.
like as
Oh,
kooky as it was, I will give it this. It had a fucking plot, and we got to the end of it.
it did. It did.
Yeah, despite the inconsistent tone.
And it's like, so the part where they merge and then immediately unmerge is so weird. Like, and then the movie just keeps going. Like they very briefly merge dimensions, and then he's there long enough to shoot Anthony Scarpelli, and then they unmerge dimensions.
Anthony, his new name is Anthony DK Scapelli.
Dude, no, I refuse. Okay, that's some nonsense that some dumbass on Wikipedia made up.
All right, so you'll deny DK Scapelli, but you won't deny this film?
No, I won't deny the film. The film actually exists. It wasn't invented by Wikipedia editors.
As far as you're aware,
I've got
I'm gonna actually look for evidence that this is his genuine name.
See, I've got the Goomba action figure mint in box, and I got my Mario action figure just standing on my desk because it's impossible to get him in box. Well, it's not. It's like $40, but I love the movie, but I don't love it enough to spend $40 on his toy. Yeah, and they had a whole merchandising push. They were really trying with this movie, and now all of those toys are like worth bank on eBay because no child wanted them.
Isn't that just an indication of how badly they failed?
It is. It is. They had a set of trading cards that had like fun scenes from the movie recreated. Um,
Like what
like
do they
Daisy
consider
calls
a
for
fun
help, and it's
scene?
like a picture of Daisy talking on the phone from the beginning of the movie.
That's a fun scene.
Yeah, it's as fun as any scene in the movie.
Is it though? Is it?
Gosh,
Okay,
this
let's
movie.
see. Let's
Like let's talk about our favorite parts. Jessica, what was your favorite part of the movie?
Oh, well, that's easy when John Leguizamo got shirtless. I
Oh yeah,
paid attention very, very closely at that part. Other
that
than
was
that,
for the ladies, and it worked. It looks like
it worked.
when they're stranded in the desert, Mario's like, "How
see.
about over there? Let's die there."
See, all I think of John Leguizamo though is his character from Ice Age.
You know, what's interesting
Wow.
is Ice Age 3 also had a cover of Walk the Dinosaur on the soundtrack. The connection there. Because in this movie, Walk the Dinosaur plays in the scene where they're in the nightclub. And it's like this weird George Clinton cover. It's not by Was Not Was.
Oh, we've been mispronouncing his name this whole time. It's John Leguizamo, not Leguizamo.
Yeah,
Haven't we been saying Leguizamo?
No, I've been saying Leguizamo.
I think only you've been mispronouncing it. We've all
Okay.
been fine.
Okay, well,
it's super
regardless.
sticker all over again.
I remember because his name kind of sounds like Luigi, but like not enough.
Hardly.
Legu-
That's not even because it's Luigi.
it's
They have
Mario
like
and
an
his
L
brother
and a G.
Leguizamo. Brother Leguizamo.
His brother Leguizamo.
He has it's kind of like a one-man show slash like kind of a stand-up called Latin History for
Oh yeah,
Morons
I
on
saw that. I
Netflix.
I saw
Yeah.
that. I didn't like it.
Funny is
What?
there's multiple
I
movies that he
liked it.
plays
I
an
thought it was
Italian
really
man
good.
despite being Latin.
I thought he played too much into stereotypes,
What
despite
is
his intentions.
I mean, you know, when you have to like put a bunch of history into how long was it? Like 2 hours? I
how
don't
does
know.
he play into stereo? You know what? I don't even care
Yeah,
about
let's
this.
not get into that.
You
Let's not
know,
even get into that.
you
That's
notice that
that can be its all whole episode right there.
whereas when they finally get their costumes, Mario is wearing the right kind of hat, but he has the clip like buttoned down the whole time. He never opens it up so that it actually looks like a Mario hat. But Luigi just has a baseball cap.
Yeah, I
Why
don't
did
get
their
it. Why did
costumes look like it was sewed by like a 10-year-old with like felt fabric?
It
From
probably
like the
was
That's
dollar
actually
just
at like
store.
cruel.
it was probably sewn at like some sweatshop somewhere.
Now that's just insulting to the
That's
costume shop of the
terrible.
film. Come on. They had a whole like look at the
Well, if
costumes in this
well,
movie.
okay, but if they wanted me to not insult the Mario and Luigi costumes, they should have done a better job.
God. Here's the thing
It
though.
did look like a Snuggie sewn together.
They steal those costumes, right? And the idea is they're supposed to be dressed like maintenance workers, and that's how they're going to sneak in. But then the second that anybody comes into the elevator with them, they hide. So what was the point of putting on disguises?
To give us that
Yeah, to give us
aesthetic
the
of
Mario
Mario
costume.
and Luigi.
And it's like I love their interpretation of what were clearly supposed to be just like normal working clothes into like this special outfit that they have to find. Like they make you wait
Yeah.
for it.
I mean, Mario and Luigi are literally just in the games, they're just wearing overalls.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they're like these bizarre looking
I mean, they're
supposedly
still like
meant
work
for
jumpsuits.
maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still look so weird though.
And it's like, does everyone who gets arrested get turned into a Goomba? Or because there were a lot of people in that jail.
Yeah, that scene was very kind of disturbing, like
Oh,
them
where he
being
gets
in
de-evolved.
You know
cages.
what I found
Yeah.
disturbing when the old lady attacked them.
Oh god. And she calls them lamos. That's another example of them using like third grade insults as like curses in this road. Like, I need Koopa coins, you lamos. It's just like,
And then there was no references to Koopa coins
well, yeah,
after
that's
that.
that was the reward that they put out. 2,000 golden Koopa coins. 2,000 golden Koopa coins. He must have a serious plumbing problem. The the exposition radio channel. And it's like, you know those two plumbers you're looking for? I think I found them. And it's just like that. So some of the people are just wearing like cat fetish outfits, and it's like that doesn't even fit with the dinosaur theme. But whatever. Like one of the dancers at the club is like wearing this fur bikini with a tail. Like you can tell that somebody just wanted to hire a bunch of strippers for that scene. Because like knowing now that those dancers are all strippers that they hired kind of explains the costumes and what's going on there. But then they had to deliberately cut around all of that because they were going to lose their PG rating. Which honestly,
And
maybe this movie deserved a PG-13. Like maybe it shouldn't have gotten away with a PG rating.
I mean, nobody was like bleeding or I don't know. What is
That's
the
true.
not that that really matters because I think
I
we already
know.
talked about like the rating system is already
They've
bullshit
gone a little
anyway.
nuts. Cause like
Hmm
2001: A Space Odyssey, like the computer murders 3 people on screen and it's still got a G rating. So I don't know what it takes.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Yeah, and then like the Star Wars movies, they didn't hit PG-13 until Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, oddly enough.
And it's just like they had to cut off all of Anakin's arms and legs and set him on fire. And then the ratings board is like, mm.
Oh, and he had to kill children too off screen.
Oh yeah, off screen. But then we see a
uh,
recording of him doing it later, so it's like, well, if you're just
Yeah,
gonna
but
show it to us,
they're like really shitty holograms, so
yeah. It's like
can
he
hardly
murdered the
tell.
younglings. Okay. Oh man, but returning to Super Mario Brothers, my goodness, my good golly goodness. The part where Iggy and Spike are evolved, so they get smarter, but then they're still not very smart.
yeah. So I don't know. Are they just like really that they are
They
that dumb?
started out as really dumb, but then the part where he gets into a fight with Luigi, and he's just like, "I'll lay off over weaning rogue." Like he's using fancy insults, and Luigi just keeps calling him biscuit head and butt breath. He's like, "Where's Daisy, biscuit head? Where's the rock over weaning rogue?" God, and when they get arrested by Koopa and they call him a fascist and an oppressor of the proletariat, and Koopa just goes, "Guy in charge." Like, let's have a minute to appreciate Koopa in this movie. Remember when he pretends to be a lawyer?
I
Yeah,
remember. Oh wait, go ahead.
I was gonna just say yeah. I remember him just like not looking like Koopa or who is this supposed to be Bowser? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Bowser was called King
okay.
Koopa. He's still called King Koopa in Japan. And weirdly, for all the Mario adaptations, Nintendo was very specific that you had to say King Koopa and not Bowser. It was the same for the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
But why though? Was there a reason?
Just because they Like that was the Japanese name. I don't know. Like they still call him Koopa in Japan. That's why Solange Bowser didn't make it into the Mario 3D All Stars remake. They used the Japanese version of the game.
I thought you guys were saying the Koopas were called like something
Oh, the
else.
Koopa Troopas were called something else.
Yeah,
Koopa
in
Okay.
Troopas
Japan
were
they're
Noko
called
Noko.
Noko Noko. Hmm.
But like it's strange. Bowser is called exclusively Koopa in Japan. And like it's clear that they're setting up he's gonna turn into a monster. And then he finally
Right.
does, but it lasts like 5 seconds and he's immediately killed. And it's like, wow, so it's kind of like how in Ocarina of Time they introduced like this weird human version of Ganon, and it's like he's gonna turn into Ganon later, and then he does like for the very final boss fight, and he looks nothing like Ganon ever did before, and then he just 'cause, you were even confused by that when we were looking at the Zelda last time. That Ganon looked like a pig man.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he always looked like until Ocarina of Time, where we had like this weird human version of him, and then
Mm.
it was set up that he was going to turn into the pig man at the end. But then when he finally did, it didn't look anything like the pig man.
I'm looking at some pictures right now. He looks like a pig man in Ocarina of Time, just not the same exact design.
Yeah. Well, it's the same with King Koopa here. We're set up to believe he's going to turn into the monster that we're all expecting, and then he sort of does, but he doesn't really look. He's still a lizard. He's not even a turtle
Yeah,
though.
I don't even remember seeing a shell.
No, he's just a turtle. I'm sorry, he's just a lizard, not a turtle. And then he gets like a yellow and green pattern for like half a second before he melts.
Yeah, that's kind of lame. Like it's like they didn't want to use all of the elements. It was just lame.
Well,
Lame.
him being in that like cement drum holder thing is, I think, supposed to be a callback to that weird clown car that he has in Super Mario World. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit with that.
I think you're giving them too much credit for a
And
lot
then,
of things.
did you
Like
notice
the
the?
technical aspects are great, but mostly great, but a bunch of other things in this movie, like, come on,
Did
no.
you notice the Reebok logo on the bottom of the Bob Omb's foot?
Why was that there?
I don't know. It says special
It
thanks
was
to
one
Reebok
of
in the
their
credits.
sponsors. Yeah, in the credits, all the
It
way
was
at
a
the
weird example
end.
of sponsorship of a
Yeah,
product
it's
placement.
like you got to put the logo somewhere, but where?
But what? Why not just put it on one of the buildings?
I don't know, because there's Earth stuff in Dino Haddon. Like you notice that at the nightclub, it's playing Earth music, and then it's playing "Somewhere My Love" in the elevator. So like, where did they get Earth music in the world of Dino Haddon if the portal's been sealed shut?
Hmm. Maybe it just got recently introduced. Who knows?
That's
Maybe
the thing.
Reebok had found a different portal and they've been selling shit to another reality this whole time.
The really confusing thing to me, and this is gonna be one of those things you're gonna be like, Connor, no one else cares about this. Okay, whatever. So
Go ahead.
presumably the reason that nobody's been back from Dino Haddon is because of that cave-in that happened at the beginning of the movie.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're interrogating Iggy and Spike in the desert. And he says he's going to merge our dimensions so that he can take over. And they say, I don't get it. Why doesn't he just go through like you two did? And they say, oh, you fool. That entrance has been sealed shut for years until someone blasted it open. And that's our explanation for why he doesn't just go through. But like, it's open now. That didn't explain shit. He could still just go through.
Yeah, I mean, they what kidnapped like 4 people, 4 or
Yeah.
5 people prior to? That
Yeah,
didn't
5
make any
people total,
sense.
and then those are the missing Brooklyn girls for people who were listening from the beginning of the podcast. Except for Angelica, she's from Queens, but she's alright.
Maybe they were just banking on children watching the movie and not questioning anything.
And then, like, Iggy and Spike, like, trying to ingratiate themselves with the princess, being like, "We've always been your loyalist supporters." It's like, "You're the ones that kidnapped her." And then Daniela getting kidnapped. I understand, like, from a story structure perspective, why that happened. They wanted Mario to have a personal stake in what was going on, instead of just rescuing his brother's girlfriend. But he doesn't find out that Daniela's been kidnapped until like way at the end of the movie, and then he immediately goes and rescues her.
Why not just call her Peach or Toads? I don't even
Well,
know.
they didn't
That
have the name Peach in America yet,
mm,
and nobody thought to share it with them. You know, oddly enough, the Super Mario Brothers anime, which is super rare, it's hard to find, and it was never translated to English, but it has Princess Peach have a magic pendant around her neck that's like important. And I feel
mhm.
like somehow that trickled over into the movie. And just like that was a deep cut for the makers of the Mario movie to reference, if indeed they are referencing it with Daisy's like magical pendant.
Mm. I mean, it's just not. It's not cohesive. It's just all over the
It is.
place.
That's what I love about it. It's just all over the goddamn
That is
place.
just a mess.
How about that
How
running
many
gag where King Koopa orders a
movies are you
how many?
guys gonna make me watch that are so all over the
Oh well,
place?
honestly, this is the moment of truth between this movie and I'm thinking of ending things. Which one? Which one do you think is better? Because I think the answer is clearly this movie, but we'll see.
Uh,
I mean,
oh,
do you want the answer now?
Well, I know what your answer is going to be. I want
N-
I want Jessica's answer.
No, no. Which one will I remember years from now? Is a better question. And I'd actually say I'll remember this movie before I remember I'm thinking of ending things.
And it's like at least this movie they were attempting to tell a cohesive story, and they just like their ambition was too great for their ability. I'm thinking of ending things was never setting out to tell a cohesive story. They were just out there to fuck with you from the beginning.
Yeah, that's about right.
But
I can
Jessica, what's
agree
your
with
take?
that. No, I
What?
can agree with that 100%. I don't want to be given a homework assignment as a movie. But I hear the book is good. My sister, her friend read because we were talking about it about the movie after we did the podcast, and she was telling me that her friend read the book and she liked it. So the book is different than the movie. Is that correct, Augustine?
Yeah, it explains a lot more.
Mm.
So much like the Super Mario Brothers movie, it's an example of a liberal adaptation.
Liberally not following the game, sure.
It takes some elements from the source material, but it gives it its own little twist. We talk about the
Uh,
running gag that if you can call it a running gag of like King Koopa orders a pizza and then keeps asking where it is and then it finally arrives.
Right. Where's my pizza? That was kind of cute how
Yeah.
he was ordering the pizza.
And then they go like, "Sir, your pizza's here." And he's like, "Not now."
do you think Dennis Hopper wanted that in the script because he really was waiting for his pizza?
You know what? I don't think it was even in the script. I think he just started asking about his pizza in the middle of a scene.
And they just filmed him.
God. You know, so all the technology, it's not really established well, but all the technology runs on like light guns in this world. Like you take a light gun and you use it on the monitor to like do stuff. And it
Star
looks like
power. There's no reference for that for any stars or star power. Odd.
no, there's no stars in the movie. But I mean, stars weren't
Mm-mm.
really they were the invincibility item, but they weren't really
Mhm.
like they weren't the collectible until Mario 64. Like they weren't a big thing.
Mm.
Although I think in Mario RPG they were like a collectible, but that was also 2 years after this movie.
Got it. Is it
And,
strange enough that they didn't even try to put any other Nintendo references, or just Nintendo was just like, we don't want any part
well,
of
it was
this?
strictly Mario only. I mean, why would they reference like Zelda in this movie?
I don't know, because it's a Nintendo based character movie. I don't know.
I
I think
mean,
they would have made them pay extra.
yeah,
Mm.
they have the rights to Mario, not to Zelda. And apparently their pitch when they were before they'd been bought by Disney was that like a big studio will do things their own way, but a little studio like us, Nintendo, we're gonna work with you. Look how that went.
I mean, I'm unsure how much influence Nintendo had. I think they just sold them and they're like, yeah, fuck it.
You know those comments from Miyamoto saying, "Oh, it's too much like the games." I swear to God,
He must be trolling.
he's talking about that anime movie. He must be. Like he
Oh,
must
like
have
he
just been
got
confused.
confused?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because like that anime movie was very similar to the games, except it weirdly had a yellow and blue Luigi,
that's really weird.
and it was
So
released to like promote Lost Levels. Like that was when it came out.
wait a minute, isn't that Wario and Waluigi's colors?
Blue and
Yellow
yellow.
and yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean
Mm,
Waluigi's
Waluigi's
more of a
purple though.
purple than a blue.
yeah.
But yeah, Luigi's color scheme was all over the place in the early years because he uh he was like white and green in Super Mario Brothers, and then he was blue and green in the original Mario Brothers. They didn't really
Mhm.
settle on something until the late '80s. Yeah.
Got it. Super.
Super Mario Brothers. I'd call them the Super Mario Brothers or
So
Mario. I
so
couldn't
Mario.
even tell the guy to say
cheesy.
Mario. I know it was. You know what I love is they're like, we can't do an adaptation of the games. That would be too silly, and they proceed to make the silliest goddamn thing that's ever been made by humanity. Remember to trust. Remember to trust the fungus.
Which was like their trust in the force
Yeah.
thing.
Remember to trust the fungus, Jessica.
Uh,
Oh
You'll be
goodness.
talking to the mildew in the shower next.
oh, when they got into the building and they're like, it's a building filled with athlete's foot.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The Koopa turning into primordial ooze. They set that up earlier in the movie in a scene that got deleted. That's why there was that brown shit all over the floor when they're in the Devo chamber. Koopa, after turning Toad into a Goomba, just straight up killed somebody with the Devo chamber just to show how it worked. And I think that would have also lost them their PG rating for Koopa to just like randomly murder somebody.
I'm trying to see. Can we look at like? I just want to see reviews. I just want to see
Oh,
what.
well, the Washington Post said it's a blast, and 60-second preview said it had eye-popping special effects. That's all on the DVD box, so that's how I know about that. I don't know if Siskel and Ebert reviewed this one, but if they did, I know that reviews at the time were generally very negative. But the thing is, most critics at the time just they hated on principle the idea of a movie being based on a video game, because unless you count Cloak and Dagger, which I don't think we can, this is like
Mhm.
the first movie based on a video game.
I like how like the user reviews on IMDb is like, oh, I have a soft spot for this movie. I love this movie. It's not a good movie, but I like this
I
movie.
mean, I love it. I love the spirit of it, and it's just like you can't say that it was a lazy movie. You can't say they didn't put in effort because my god, you look at this world that they've constructed. Everybody has these weird outfits. All the extra, like even the extras have weird makeup going on. There's little animatronic dinosaurs everywhere. There's puppets. There's like custom built cars. Did you notice all the cars work like bumper cars? They've got little antennas sticking out of them that connect to a power grid up above them.
Sure.
That's because all the cars are electric. Because okay, there's no fossil fuel in their world because there's no
Right.
dinosaur fossils. So all the
The
cars
the
are electric.
dinosaurs didn't die. Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's what's going to happen in a world where we all switch to electric cars. It's going to suddenly become like this Mad Max dystopia.
okay, Connor. So I looked up what the first video game based movie was,
Does it say Cloak and Dagger?
and no. So Super Mario Brothers is the first live action Hollywood movie, right?
Hmm.
And the first one is actually Super Mario Brothers and yeah, a cartoon, the animated
The
one from
Mission to Rescue
86.
Princess Peach?
Yeah, the 86 one.
Yeah. So I mean Mario with two firsts over here, and I swear that's what Miyamoto was talking about when they asked him because there's no way. There's no way.
Yeah, there's no way he's talking about Blade Runner over here.
Have you seen I think I've sent it to you, Augustine, the ads in Japan for Super Mario All-Stars of the Mario
Oh yeah,
characters
yeah.
showing up at a big Hollywood premiere to watch their movie, and they're all so excited.
And then the very next scene is them crying and being angry.
No, it's not. They're
uh,
just watching the movie. But it's like there were such high hopes. And then when Mario All-Stars came out in America, they didn't bother with that. But that was the tie-in game when this movie came out. Mario All-Stars released that same year, which, is very very topical right now because they just released Mario All-Stars on Nintendo Switch Online.
and they released another collection this year, 3D All Stars, which you still
Yeah.
haven't played.
I still haven't gotten it. It's supposed to deliver today, but they said it would deliver yesterday. I ordered this 2 weeks ago and I'm pretty mad. Pretty mad. Like my god, you ordered it yesterday and you got it. And my friend Mark, he got his copy. And I'm just over here not playing my Mario games. Just being sad.
Okay, so I
Sorry.
looked up Cloak and Dagger, and yeah, it's about a video game cartridge, right?
Yeah, and it's a real video game cartridge that it's about.
Uh,
But it's like,
so, but Tron came out in '82, though.
but the Tron game was based on the Tron movie, so I don't think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
counts as a movie based game or as a game based movie, whatever. The movie came out after,
Yeah.
and
The
also, mhm, yeah,
Oh, I was just gonna just add in just the awards for the movie is the best costume, and they were nominated best costume and best makeup. So just yeah, agreeing with you that they put effort into prosthetics and the aesthetic of the entire set.
yeah.
But
It's just like they worked so hard towards a goal that is a little hard to understand.
Okay, Connor, Cloak and Dagger, the video game, was made because of the movie.
Oh, then it totally doesn't count. Totally
Yeah, it
doesn't
was
count.
a tie. It was a tie-in video game with that film. Yeah. Now I want to look up Tron.
mm,
What about the video game?
Well, that must have been a tie-in because nobody like Tron was not a known property.
It says that there was a tabletop video game, Tron, released in '81.
What? Really? A year before the movie
But it
came
was,
out?
yeah, it was a tie-in for the movie, which hadn't come out yet. And then the one that most people know about, the Tron arcade game, that came out as a tie-in for the film in '82.
I didn't know there was a tabletop game.
Yeah, it says released a tabletop VFD video game,
VFD.
a
What's VFD?
vacuum fluorescent display video game.
Oh my god, the like the weird blacklight effect that the Tron machine had.
Maybe, I'm not sure. I'm more familiar with the arcade game, but that says it came out in '82.
okay, so I'm looking. I know whatever Wikipedia, right, is not the best source apparently because
Not always.
now it will just always be Anthony DK Capelli for me.
I couldn't find anything on it actually being DK. It's probably just someone making shit up.
I know, but I just typed it like films based on video like live action, and like the first one on the list is Super Mario Brothers, at least by date, and then it just goes into Double Dragon, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, Wing Commander, Lara Croft, and yeah, just so on and so forth.
Yeah, Wing Commander. Was Mark Hamill in that? He was in the game. I don't think he was in the movie.
And,
Yeah, I don't think he was in the movie either.
and then I'm looking at like what's upcoming. Minecraft's getting a fucking
Well, they
movie?
say
Like,
that, but they've been saying that for years.
I mean, you can go watch the Netflix show.
Okay, so just for the sake of everybody's edification,
uh-oh.
Wait, why did he drop out of the call just to link us?
He's in the general
Yeah,
channel.
he's in the wrong channel. All right, I'll just edit this part out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he got confused on which one we're in. All right, well, I'm gonna go check out what he just.
Oh, there. He's
Hey,
here.
Connor, why did
did
you
I
drop out?
did I fizzle out?
Well, yeah, you dropped out and you went to the general instead.
Oh, what did you hear? Anything?
Nothing.
Okay, I
Nothing.
sent I sent you guys a link.
Yeah, I saw the link for the
All right, I
hero
was trying to explain what
costumes.
it was. Click on that link and then click on any of the blue highlighted costumes. I can't
Yeah,
send you
club
pictures
suit.
because the way it works. So it's just any of them, and it'll bring up concept art that you can go through.
Well, at least the concept art looks even more ridiculous, but at least it's the
It
right
has
color
an
Come up
scheme.
similar.
even own website. Wow.
Yeah, and I need you to go down to either secretarial wear or latex catsuit or mud bathing dress. These are all Lena's costumes, and they are unbelievable. What concept Lena was like.
Wait, what?
Like down near the bottom, there's a bunch of Lena's costumes. Just click on any of them.
Latex catsuit?
Yeah, Lena did wear a latex catsuit in the movie, but the concept of the
You can
catsuit.
see her ass in one of them, in the cat suit, a little bit. like the
In the
top.
in the movie or in the
No, in the concept art.
yeah, the concept art is nuts.
Yeah, they actually
Mario
drew a little bit of crack right there.
They did.
metallic bikini. That's
I,
that's one.
I
These
I I
these
think
are
the studio hired the wrong people for a child-friendly Mario Brothers movie.
go to metallic
They may have
bikini.
fucked up.
These are the costumes that they had to cut out from the Boom Boom Bar scene because they were too suggestive. They had to like shoot around these characters. One sec.
Yeah, it's very like sexualizing
Yeah,
in a children's game movie. The fuck?
Yeah. Who okayed the costuming?
I don't know, but I know that Disney was pretty upset with it when they took over. They were the movie quote skewed older. I just sent a picture of King Koopa at the Boom Boom Bar. Although he never appears at the Boom Boom Bar in the movie, so they must have taken liberties when they did the publicity photos.
It just doesn't really fit, and it comes making me uncomfortable.
It's
I
bizarre.
mean,
These are
like
just
even like what's her face? The women that are like kidnapped, like they're wearing like
one of them is like
really.
jazzercising in the background, like she's doing leg lifts when they walk in. She's got like a '90s workout outfit on.
Hmm.
So presumably she was like jogging or something when she got kidnapped.
I mean, I shouldn't really be acting surprised, movie sexualizing women. That's about it. Except for Daisy because she's Miss Pure and all that. They
Oh,
never
she is
sexualized
so fresh and
the
so
pure
clean.
character.
Do you remember how he says
Literally,
that?
that's what he said. He's so
And it's
pure and
because Koopa's
clean.
Koopa's a germaphobe. He's always washing his hands. He's always bathing. He doesn't want to touch the fungus. But then he goes into the room with the fungus and yells at it later in the movie. So like I don't know. He's so
Why
concerned with
does
the
he keep the
fungus.
fungus around though?
I guess well he can't kill it. It's everywhere.
Well, he
Yeah, the
could
way
burn
fungus
the
works
main
is
fungus.
a network. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
because
there's no
this
central.
fucking movie has like actual like magical rules like to follow.
Well, you see, evolution is an upward process, and de-evolution just works the opposite way. It's very simple.
So simple.
It's very simple if you're
And it's
brain
like the
dead
thing
about
is
how it
like
works.
it does sexualize these women, but only kind of in passing because they can't linger on this because that'll lose them their kid-friendly rating. So there's this woman in spandex doing like sexy workout poses just in the background. Like we don't focus on it. And there's like a bunch of strippers dancing in the club, but we don't ever really see them in a full shot because they had to cut around them. And it's just very strange.
It just yeah. That stuff like that like just not fun to watch for me.
Bertha, the bouncer at the Boom Boom Bar with
See,
the
I like
the
Big
spikes.
Bertha. I
Yeah,
liked
Bertha's
her
great.
character.
I feel kind of bad because she had like a crush on Mario, and Mario had also Daniela is much too young for Mario. Can we just get that out of the way?
What? What are
Well,
you
how old
talking
was Daniela?
about?
How old was Daniela Pauline's character?
Daniela
Well,
Pauline.
the
I'm gonna
actress, I mean.
I'm gonna Google Daniela Pauline and see if anything comes up. An actual real person. Now I feel bad. Nobody listening do that. Uh, she was she was Dana Kaminsky. Okay, Dana Kaminsky. It's gonna take us a second, guys. She's too obscure to. She was in Big.
Big is such a weird movie,
She
honestly.
was bro. She put as her birthday July 21st. I don't tell the year.
Well, that doesn't help us.
No, it doesn't. Maybe she's the same age as Bob Hoskins. She definitely seems a little young to be dating like middle-aged Bob Hoskins. And they were gonna go to
Um,
WrestleMania.
I guess the last thing she did was Wild Thornberries in '99 as some random character.
I mean, good for her. Random character in Wild Thornberries. I mean, Daniela, what a strange character.
I
But Big
mean, not
Bertha,
really. anything. She was just there for another body,
Yeah, I mean, there
another
was no
Like,
female
real
body
point
in a dress. There was
for
no real point.
Mario.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
she wasn't even motivation for Mario the way like the princess is
Yeah,
for Luigi. He doesn't
that's
even know
true.
she's been kidnapped. He's just like, oh yeah, I should probably go deal with that. He's like, you must be the missing Brooklyn girl. Yes, except for Angelica. She's from Queens, but she's alright. I, that this friggin' movie. But the Wizard of Oz references. Did anyone pick up on that?
Yeah, like the clicking.
Clapping
Yeah.
your heels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
click your
Yeah.
heels together, and then when they first get there, Luigi goes, "I got a feeling we ain't in Brooklyn no more." Just
Hmm.
a reference to the classic line, "I have a feeling we aren't in Kansas anymore, Toto."
So this movie's just the only original thing was the cool aesthetics, but
Well, even that's
everything
just
else.
straight up from Blade Runner. Like they took a little bit
That's
of Blade
true.
Runner, a little bit of Mad Max. Have you seen Blade Runner?
I've not, no. All I know is in Blade Runner. Is it the movie with like the three boob alien? Is it
No,
that
no, that's
movie?
Total Recall. That's Total Recall. That
Oh,
actually came out
okay,
later.
okay,
No,
okay.
there are boobs in Blade Runner now that I'm thinking about, it, but only two at a time ever. Or are there? Augustine, help me out here. Was there any nudity in Blade Runner?
I don't remember there being
Because
nudity.
the one girl was like a dancer, like an exotic dancer.
Yeah, with the cobra, and she gets shot while she's running through the rain, but I don't remember her being nude at any point.
God, man, friggin' and then the narration in that movie. Have you seen the non-director's cut with the narration?
I have not. I've seen clips of it. I don't intend on ever watching the original theatrical version, though.
My God, they say that Harrison Ford deliberately did a bad job, and then someone asked him that in an
Um,
interview, and he said, "No, that was me doing my best."
n-
He's a terrible
he
actor.
must be. He must be. He's either lying or he was just really bad.
Cause
Like,
like honestly, you watch him like in new movies, and you're like, "Wow, he seems so out of it." But then you go and watch Indiana Jones, it's like, no, he was always like that. It's just the movie around him was much more exciting. Like even the first Star Wars, he just seems like he just wants to fucking say his lines and get out. And it's like when
well,
played against
I disagree. I think that he had a little bit more life to him in the first Star Wars. A
well, when
little
played
bit.
against Luke Skywalker's earnestness, like his like complete
Mhm.
blasé attitude comes across as like a contrast. But then he's just always like that. I need to
Ain't
find
that
you.
just
Do you remember in Blade Runner when he did the weird voice?
Oh yeah, it's like the dirty holes in the dressing rooms, and they like to peep through. It's like doing his nerd voice, right?
Yeah, he was trying to come off as like a weakling nerd man or
And
something.
his entire disguise is just like doing a high pitched voice.
Could you have imagined Harrison Ford in this movie?
And then he just whips out a gun and shoots. Like, why did he go through the trouble of doing like a disguise in an act, and he's just gonna shoot her?
Yeah, the whole point is that he's supposed to just like eliminate them, right? So
Mm,
retire them. So why didn't he just shoot her?
God.
She's a
And then
replicant too, so nobody would be so he'd be like, "Well, it's legal for me to do that."
when Roy Batty saves his life, and the narration cuts in, and the non-director scene goes, "I don't know why he saved my life." It's like, and after he
Could
shoots her, he's just like, "I didn't feel great about shooting a woman in the back, but my job was to do it." It's just
Yeah, I'm
he's so
only ever gonna
hilariously
watch
bad.
I'm only ever gonna watch Blade Runner with the final cut version. I don't need to watch the original.
We're
Not
getting a
for me.
little off topic, but Jessica, the point is
Well,
Blade Runner takes place in the future and has like a kind of cyberpunk version of Los Angeles in it.
mm,
And like they
wait,
clearly they
Jessica, have you
hired
seen Blade Runner?
she hasn't, she said.
no.
Oh, okay.
She thought it was Total Recall, but that movie has some fun designs too, but
Well,
I
Total
feel like
Recall came out in '93, right?
no, 1990.
I'm checking.
It was directed by Paul Verhoeven. It might have been 91, but I
No,
think
you're
it was
right. It
90.
was 1990.
Cuz like Arnold Schwarzenegger was on a roll cuz he was in that, and then he was in Terminator 2 like the very next year.
Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, Total Recall, they did a remake that oddly enough did not take place on Mars. And it's like, so what's the point? You took all the fun parts of the movie and you got rid of them, and now we're just left with violence.
Are we surprised?
Wait, wasn't it the
Yeah,
PG-13 remake
it
too?
was. So we didn't even have the violence. Jeez. And okay, so instead of a colony on Mars, there was just a colony on the other side of the world. And it's like, I'm sorry. So, like, isn't being on Mars the whole part that makes any of that shit interesting? Oh,
Yeah, the whole point was that maybe it's all a dream, and that that's fine because they're on Mars, you know?
Mars is cool. Paul Verhoeven,
Mars
he
is cool.
directed that. He also did Starship Troopers and RoboCop. Like RoboCop's kind of cyberpunk.
No, I would describe that as a cyberpunk movie.
Yeah, RoboCop's cool, but uh, I don't know. Super Mario Brothers definitely has a cyberpunk look, but nothing especially. Well, maybe the Devo Chamber is kind of a cyberpunk thing.
Not really. It's just fantasy, basically.
Oh, the one thing for you Super Smash Brothers fans out there, the Devo gun is a Super Scope that they've repainted.
What?
Yeah, the Super Scope. It was a light gun that you could get for
No, I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
Are
the
you
Devo
telling
gun.
me that's where that gun comes from? Is that,
No, it
or is
comes
it the
from
other
it
way
comes from
around?
reality. It was a light gun that worked with the Super Nintendo and or the Super Scope 6 was for the Super Nintendo. I don't know if the Super Scope there might have been one for the regular Nintendo, but there's like
Mm.
on-set photos. There we go. The Super Scope 6 image. I'm going to send it to the general. Hopefully I don't cut myself off again. Super Scope 6.
Oh, it looks like a Nerf gun.
The Devo gun.
Mhm.
So I mean they made modifications, but it kind of started as a Super Scope 6.
Mhm. I still can't get over the fucking Goomba head. It's like just so
Okay,
uncanny.
so some of the Goombas have snouts, and some of them have little heads, and it has been posited by some fans that the ones with snouts are actually Koopa Troopas, and the ones with the little heads are Goombas. Because you
Oh,
see
you
the
mean the ones that look more like lizards?
yeah, the one on the right has like a lizard head, and the one on the left has a little tiny head.
Yeah, that's just weird.
Also, I know that like it's very clear that the actor's head is right there where the neck is, but I'm still completely sold by the illusion. And like the puppetry on the heads is amazing. Like they've got a full range of facial expressions despite being so small.
Mhm. Ugh, it's just not a good movie.
I
Connor, if
mean,
they did a VR version of this movie,
Oh
would you buy
God.
a VR
I,
headset?
how would that work? I don't understand how you make a
No, I
VR
mean
version of
like
this.
someone makes a VR game where you just explore the environments
I mean, the environments are probably the best part of the movie, so I think I might be into that. But I don't know if I'd be into it enough to spend
with
$300 on a VR
to
headset.
buy an Oculus Quest 2.
God, that was his name, Parker Funny or Parker Smiley. What's that dude's name? Parker Lucky.
Palmer Lucky,
Palmer Lucky. He has a stupid name. But yeah, he's nuts, and he's forever tainted Oculus for me. So
even though he no longer works for the company.
yeah. Oh, speaking of problematic behavior, apparently, Rocky Morton, at one point, he thought that one of the actors didn't look disheveled enough, so he just poured his coffee out on the guy.
That's pretty gross.
Yeah. So apparently, these directors, like Bob Hoskins, was right to say that it was a nightmare to work with them,
That they're
and
all
they were
control freaks. Yeah.
they were a husband and wife team. I think they ended up
Ugh.
getting divorced. I don't know if it was because
Was
of
it
this
because
movie.
of the movie?
I was gonna say. Oh my goodness. This like I'm just like still trying to think why did Bob Hoskins just agree to this?
Well, I
I
can
don't
tell
know.
you why.
Money.
Yeah. Well, not
And
only
I'm
that, but like
assuming a younger relative asked him to.
Mario was a big thing. Apparently, he didn't even know that it was a video game until his son told him after he'd already signed on. And the rumor has it that one version of the script, which they call the political satire version, was actually very clever. I haven't read this
Mm,
version of the script myself, and that's the version that all the actors saw and signed on for. And then it was
mm.
drastically changed before they actually shot the movie. So like they basically got baited in with a script that looked better than the movie ended up being.
I feel like an actor of Bob Hoskins' stature at the time, because he was a
Mhm.
respected actor,
Well, he
he
was in
should
Yeah.
Hook too.
he should have
Like,
thought of like maybe getting a contract that says if you completely change the script to the movie I signed on for, I can leave.
Right.
I mean, it
Yeah,
makes sense.
I mean, you don't want to sign on for something and then it turns into something fucking terrible, right?
Yeah, but then if if our listeners want to go to smbmovie.com, I'm here on the scripts page, and just to give you an idea, here's what we've got here: the quote unquote Wizard of Oz fairy tale version of the script, the transitional sci-fi fantasy version of the script, the Ghostbusters style version of the script, the Die Hard influenced version of the script, the Mad Max influenced version of the script, the Disney influenced version of the script, the quote unquote rainbow rewrite. Those are just some of the various versions this movie went through, and basically they named them all based on what movie they chose to use as an influence for the tone and the story.
Jeez.
Yeah. And it's just it went through so many different versions. And Ed Solomon, I just found this out. I just saw this in the opening credits. He was the co-creator of Bill and Ted. He wrote all 3 Bill and Ted movies, even the one that just came out this year. He was one of the credited screenwriters on this movie. So can you imagine Bill and Ted as the Mario Brothers?
Um,
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves is Mario. Can you imagine him saying "Mamma Mia" but like in his surfer dude voice?
Or in his John Wick voice.
That might be
Uh,
better, actually.
Mamma Mia. Honestly, I would see like Alex Winter as Mario and Keanu Reeves as Luigi. And then Toad would be George Carlin. Okay, so here we go. This is the version from 1992, the quote unquote Mad Max version of the script that apparently was the one that the actors saw and signed on for. So if you've got time to read a quick 112 pages of Super Mario movie script, uh, then you
Okay,
might see why the actors decided to sign on.
well, I am going to put this in the description. I'll link it, but I will not be reading this at the moment. I'll read it eventually
Oh,
at some point.
trying to find something for you. No. Okay, so there's a joke that was in this version of the script that made it into the set design because they build the sets early, but it didn't make it into the actual movie. And basically, the way that voting works in this world, because Koopa is the president, is that when you go into the voting booth, all the choices are Koopa, but they're like um, different versions of Koopa. Like you can vote. Let me read the quote here. Mario, what's the deal with this guy Koopa? We seen his picture everywhere. Vote for Koopa the sportsman, Koopa the cruel, Koopa the stud. Doesn't anyone run against this guy? Toad, Koopa the sensitive ran 4 years ago, but he only got 2%. Luigi, I mean somebody other than Koopa. So you can elect anyone as long as it's Koopa. So basically, your voting ballot is just like Koopa the whatever, like a bunch of times. And you see on the election signs in the movie, there's like Koopa the environmentalist in the background, and he's got like a chainsaw. But like, so like they made the election signs before they had rewritten that part out of the script. It was just like a sign of how in motion this movie was. They were building stuff based on a script that got changed, and so there's a lot of like artifacts left in the set design of things that didn't make it into the movie.
There's just so many things that made it in that should have not been.
Oh, Toad here says, in the good old days, we just had a dictator. So like this script of the movie is a little bit more self-aware of the fact that they're restoring a monarchy to the throne and overthrowing a democracy.
Well, a fake democracy, but
It's true. It's like there's really nobody's on the good side.
Yeah, like how do we know that the Mushroom King, if it is I'm assuming it's the Mushroom King because he's a fungus for a majority of the movie, is a good king? Who the fuck knows?
I'm
We
here at
don't
the
know.
I'm here at the end of the script, and Iggy and Spike are working at Mario Brothers Plumbing at the end.
Hmm. That could be its own game.
Yeah, I
Koopa
mean,
Brothers.
the
since we
Super
made
Koopa
you,
Cousins.
yeah, we
Super
made you
Koopa.
watch all the way to the end. The real fake out in the end credits, you see 2 Japanese businessmen saying, "We have an exciting proposition, a video game based on your many adventures." And you think they're going to be talking to the Mario Brothers, and you get set to see the Mario Brothers when the camera pans over, but then you're thrown for a loop, a curveball, when it's not the Mario Brothers, it's Iggy and Spike, and you're like, "What?" I'm amazed that you recovered from that shock so quickly.
just not good. I feel bad and then I don't. It's just meh.
Wait, what do you feel bad about?
Feel bad for the people that, put themselves out there
I mean,
to
you could say that about any bad movie though.
That's
Because I wouldn't
fair.
call this a good movie, I would call it an entertaining movie. I wasn't really bored watching it.
Mhm.
I mean, I've seen some bad movies where you're like, please just end. This movie, I'm like, what else is gonna happen? Like, what other crazy shit
Right.
did they fuck up with?
Mhm. I can agree with you on that. Again, shitting on waiting for things to end or I'm waiting whatever the fuck that movie is called.
So it
I'm
was
thinking of
the
ending things. I
it was
just wanted it to end.
the draft after the Mad Max draft. That's when they brought on Ed Sullivan, and that was the one they wrote to try and court Disney to put in money for additional funding with no input from the directors, and that's where things started to go really wrong. Like, because when the movie is rewritten and the director's not aware of it, and the director is shooting the movie at the time, you can imagine how that would lead to a disjointed production.
Yeah.
Basically, from what I understand, Disney wouldn't give them any money based on the script they saw, but they were already
Mhm.
shooting and they were already over budget, so they were like, "Well, we'll rewrite it." They just rewrote it on the spot, got money from Disney, and then Disney showed up on set and was like, "This isn't like what we read." God,
They were like, we've been bamboozled.
we've been hoodwinked, taken for a ride. God,
Mm.
This don't look like the Mushroom Kingdom to me.
It literally did it was just so opposite of, the Mario world in general. It
I
was just
know.
because Mario is very colorful and
Well, this movie was
like
colorful at times, but yeah, no, I know what you mean.
this aesthetically it was more dark and just not as you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
Dark and gritty.
except for the desert, it's always nighttime in Dino Haddon, and that's because that set's inside. It's on a cement factory.
Mhm.
Like they
Yeah,
couldn't light it as daytime.
yeah. Because when I think of Mario Brothers, I think of nighttime.
I mean, to be fair, there was a whole level of Donkey Kong that took place in a cement factory.
Yeah, that was Donkey Kong though. This is called the Super Mario Brothers movie.
I know. God. And Luigi, he's the dreamer. He believes that he can navigate based on instinct. He buys tabloid magazines. He watches Miraculous World on TV. Mario's the cynical one. He's like, none of that's ever gonna happen, Luigi. Yeah, the rent is 3 months overdue.
Do you think it's weird that he raised his brother?
It is, and then like
His
Luigi says
brother
he
who's like
doesn't.
20 years younger than he is.
Luigi says he doesn't know who his mother and father are, but then later Mario's just talking about his dad. Like, I don't think it was any great mystery. And it's just like, is he really his brother, or is he just like some random kid?
Right,
That he
it's just
adopted, but then they wouldn't be the Super Mario Brothers then.
I know, like in the earlier drafts of the scripts, there was real tension between Mario and Luigi because like Luigi was the favorite son, but he didn't want to be a plumber, and Mario wanted to be a plumber, but their father liked Luigi better, and it was honestly it was a very strange dynamic.
That is such a weird dynamic, especially in retrospect, because Luigi's usually the one who they make fun of as being second fiddle
Yeah,
yeah, they always shitting
in the
on
video games.
Luigi.
I know. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
movie Luigi gets like he's the young, sexy one, and he gets the girl, sort of. She ends up staying in
well,
Dino
Mario
Haddon.
already has
Yeah,
his own love interest though.
that's so strange that they just included that woman like to I don't even know. I guess because they didn't want to have a date scene where Mario was there and he didn't have a girlfriend there with him. Like that part where Luigi asks out Daisy and Mario's like right behind him smiling very creepily.
Do you remember at the end when Luigi kisses Daisy, or they both kiss, right? And then Mario's just like, I should have gone involved or something like
Yeah,
that.
and he's like, if you really loved her, you'd understand that.
And they start
Mario's
kissing and he's like, well, never mind.
God. But what came from this movie, the one lasting legacy, that honestly might have started in NES Open Tournament Golf and not here, is that Daisy has kind of become Luigi's princess, the way that Peach is Mario's princess. Like
Mhm.
people think of them as a couple, even though the game that Daisy's from, Luigi wasn't even in Super
Mhm.
Mario Land.
And I
But
don't
in
really
NES,
see them interact either.
yeah, in NES Open Tournament Golf, Daisy is Luigi's caddy, and Peach is Mario's caddy. and that was the second time she ever showed up. She never showed up in a game again until Mario Tennis, but like she calls
Hmm.
Luigi sweetie in gosh, I think it's Mario Tennis in one of the games. And it's like there's a running thing that maybe they have something going on, and I think it's all based on this movie.
Yeah, it could be.
Daisy is my favorite of the princesses, honestly, just because she was in this movie.
Hmm.
But also, I
You
really
might
like Super Mario
you
Land.
might be one of the only human beings on Earth who has ever said that sentence.
Well, you might notice that my my screen name here on Discord is Tatanga89, and that's a Super Mario Land reference for all you Mario fans out there. Because of course, Tatanga is the monster that kidnapped Daisy, and he's a space alien. And 89 is the year that that game came out.
Isn't it? Oh yeah. So yeah, that's some nice trivia right there.
I mean, maybe Tatanga was going to be the thing that they fought in the next movie. Who knows?
I
Because
mean,
Koopa's pretty definitively dead. You know.
They should have gone all the way with the Wizard of Odd references and had them fight the villain from the second Mario Brothers from
Oh,
Super Mario
Wart.
Brothers 2. Yeah, they should
Yeah.
have fought War and then at the end they just wake up
Oh gosh.
and
wow.
they're just like and you were there and you were there and you were there.
But you see, Wart was the king of dreams, so like
No,
we did
so
really
no,
find
so
Wart.
it did really happen but in like a dream reality,
Yeah.
which
Oh
is
boy.
fine. That it would still work.
Like they kind of split the difference in the Mario cartoon because their version of Koopa looks like halfway Bowser and halfway Wart, and then he has like Mauser and Triclide as his minions.
I'm still waiting for, us to explore the Waffle Kingdom.
Oh yeah, and Princess
Ugh,
Eclair.
and Princess Eclair, yeah. I want that princess. I want fan art for that. I want
I'm
that to
sure you
be
could find it.
I know, but I mean I want that princess to be on the next whatever, Mario Party Kart,
Have you
whatever
ever
the
heard of
fuck.
the DeviantArt game?
No.
You pick a cartoon character and you type their name into DeviantArt, right? And
Mhm.
for every inappropriate piece of fan art, you take a shot.
That seems like a really easy way to get alcohol poisoning.
It is. There's no winners. There's no winners in the DeviantArt game.
Which
Yeah.
is
Oh, but speaking of Super Smash Brothers items that show up in movies, have you ever watched GoldenEye, the James Bond movie?
no.
What about it?
Oh, how he takes out that bomb near the end of the movie, and it is straight up the mine from Super Smash Brothers 64.
It's an odd reference.
Well, it's because GoldenEye was out on the N64. They even say when in Melee when it says what game it's from, it says top secret. It won't tell you what game it's from.
Oh yeah, because they didn't have the
Yeah,
rights
they
to
didn't have the
James
rights.
Bond.
But it's just like so strange to me that James Bond has like a Super Smash Brothers item in his movie, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the bomb.
It's all connected.
Yeah, they changed it to be the one from Perfect Dark later, but then they lost the rights to that, so now it's just
so so now they're just like, yeah, screw it.
who knows where it's from. I want Joanna Dark as a fighter in Super Smash Brothers.
I mean, they got Banjo Kazooie and they're owned by
Yeah,
Microsoft now.
and if we can have literally 8 Fire Emblem characters. And, like, people say, "Well, there's more Mario characters." Yes, but the Mario characters are all, like, distinct, like, there's Bowser and Mario, and
Yeah,
then you
whereas
got, like,
everybody they
6.
pick from Fire Emblem is either swordman, sword person, or wizard person.
Oh, you're talking about in Super Smash?
I
Yeah,
The newest
yeah.
Super Smash Ultimate, there's, like, 8
Yeah.
characters who are just anime boys with swords. And then we have, like, the dude from Xenogears and even Cloud from Final Fantasy. Like, how many anime boys with swords do we need?
I like the Shulk though.
And then we got, like, literally every hero from Dragon Quest.
Okay, but that's a costume switch though. At least it's one character and the
But it's
alternates
still an
are
anime boy with a sword.
well, yeah, but I love Dragon Quest
I
though.
don't wanna play anime boy with
Take out
swords.
every they should have just made all the Fire Emblem characters one character.
Honest to God, make a Fire Emblem fighting game. Get it out of your goddamn system.
Well, they already failed with the RPG. Not because it's a bad game. but because they're like, you know what, let's mix it with Shin Megami Tensei, and then it's not mixed with SMT really. It's
That
like
was a
Fire.
strange.
It's not Persona. It's not Fire Emblem. It's Tokyo Mirage
And
Sessions.
then they censored out all the sexy costumes, just like they did in the Super Mario Brothers movie.
I mean, it makes sense because they didn't. I don't think they aged up the characters, so they're still 17,
But I mean,
16.
okay, that is like
Yeah,
I'm over here stumping for
that's
this, but they're fake. They're not real people with real ages. Like they're drawn to look
yeah.
Uh,
like adults.
I'm okay. So I understand that point, but at the same time, I'm like, where do we draw the line, though?
Yeah.
Where do we
Because
draw the
like, okay,
line?
Scooby Doo, officially Velma's 14 years old,
Uh-huh.
but
Who
you
the
look
fuck
at
is taking?
Velma.
Why the fuck are they in a van?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the Scooby Doo kids are adults. Okay, I don't care what Hanna Barbera says. Those kids are all grown ups. They're driving around the country by themselves. None of them are 14. You know.
I'm looking this up.
Yeah, she's the youngest member of the group. Daphne is 16. Fred, Shaggy's older than the other kids. I think he's 17. But it's like the ages they gave for the Scooby Doo kids are like absurdly young.
It says that Fred and Shaggy are 17, Daphne is 16, and Velma is 15. Who the fuck is funding their little van trips?
They said it's
Their mystery
Daphne's
machine?
father. That's what
I was gonna
somebody
I know
say,
tweeted
because
isn't
at.
she's rich,
Daphne
but
like the
why?
rich one?
She
Yeah.
didn't become the rich one until like the 90s, though. Like it just
Mm.
never came up until 30 years later. Like,
So Scooby is 7 years old. Isn't
I
that
mean,
kind of old for a Great Dane?
I don't know how long they live, but it does
I
seem
don't
We're
think
pretty
they.
old.
talking about a cartoon, y'all, so I don't think it
Well,
really
yeah, but
matters.
if you're just gonna be like
Oh
it doesn't matter,
no,
why talk
Scooby's
about
gonna
anything
die in a
ever?
year. Scooby's gonna die in a year.
Jesus Christ, why do you gotta come over here and tell me this?
Only live between 8 and 10 years.
Well, he might die in 3 years, okay? Scooby's gonna be fine. All you kids listening, Scooby Doo is gonna be fine, okay? Don't listen to
Oh
Augustine.
no.
That's why they keep rebooting different versions of
Oh yeah, because he
Scooby-Doo.
just dies.
Rebooty Doo. Oh
Why
my
don't
god,
they reboot but bring back the Scooby Doo Puppy Show, whatever that
that
was
was a
called?
good show. Yeah, that was fun.
What was the
A
name of
pup
that
named
one?
Scooby Doo.
A Pup Named Scooby Doo.
Well,
Reboot
that
it,
was
but
actually a good show.
It
yeah,
Yeah.
I
had kind of
actually
like a
liked it.
doo-wop soundtrack, and Freddy had
Yeah,
like more of a personality in
it
that
had a
show.
lot more. It had a lot of energy because they weren't trying to even pretend to be set in some vague version of reality
Yeah.
like
And it
the
had a
regular
fun theme
series is.
song. Yeah, honestly, I'm still stumping for Scooby Doo. Where are you, OG Scooby Doo? I just love the design of that show. Wow, Takamoto, he did the designs. He's great.
Hmm.
He actually learned how to draw in a Japanese internment camp when he was a kid.
Are we talking about the Scooby-Doo like
The '70s one, the
Yeah,
original.
well,
Yeah.
late
Okay.
60s. Yeah,
Yeah, where and also Shaggy had like completely black eyes, right? If I'm remembering
Yeah.
correctly.
I believe
yeah.
so.
There are a
They
Yeah.
lot
they
of
didn't
good
draw the whites
memes.
of they didn't draw the whites of anybody's eyes on that show. Everyone had like flesh and then pupils. It was easier. They only had so much paint. I mean, come on.
No, I mean like I love that Scooby-Doo like
Okay, well,
that
Velma had
version.
blue eyes though.
Oh wow. Well, I think it's because the glasses they had to do the painting around it anyway.
Yeah,
Mm.
probably.
Anyway, that show, like honestly, the story, like people don't give it
Oh no,
enough
wait, I'm
credit. It
wrong.
doesn't deserve
I'm
that much credit. She
I'm
had
wrong.
black eyes.
I'm taking a closer look. The blue's supposed to be her lenses.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she is
But,
just like everybody else with the their
but like not
black
every
eyes.
episode follows that same formula that people like say is the Scooby Doo formula. Like it mixes it up in the original show. Like Charlie the
Ac-
robot actually was a crazy killer robot. Like there was no guy in a costume. There was no
No,
trick.
wait, Connor. So you're mistaken that nobody has whites in their eyes. Scooby Doo does.
Oh, okay.
He's the only one with like regular eyeballs, and he's the fucking dog.
God. I mean, like the Mario movie, there was stuff that was cut from scripts that kind of made things make more sense. Like in the original pitch for the show, they were a band, and that's why they were traveling around the country in like a flower power van.
See, that makes more sense.
And then they just kind of forgot to ever mention that they were a band at any point in the show. Like in one episode, they've got instruments and they're going to a show, but it's not really clear what exactly is happening. And that's the only time they've never got instruments again.
They could
I
have
think
just
Shaggy
said they
was
were on
fun.
an expensive vacation, like a road
Yeah.
trip
The
around the
thing is they
country.
realized children wouldn't care, I guess, and it
I mean,
doesn't
I
matter.
think I think that describes a lot of things, including the Super Mario Brothers movie. The children won't
Yes.
care.
These stupid
Connor
kids, they
Connor will
won't know.
care. Connor will care. Like he'll watch it as a child and he'll grow up to be the adult who
Well,
cares.
the thing is, here may be the origin of my obsession with the Mario Brothers movie. Do you remember the
Okay,
scene
go
in the
ahead.
club when Mario's trying to steal the meteorite piece back from Big Bertha?
Mhm.
Uh,
They're dancing together, and she's like, "Dance with me. I'll hit you while you like."
was Big Bertha your sexual awakening?
No, although, like, let's be real. Big Bertha's cute, right? Can we all agree on that? Big Bertha's cute.
No, she's a good-looking woman. I'm just making
That's
fun of you
spiky,
because of the
but no,
idea of
no,
this movie being your sexual awakening is
that's
hilarious.
not that's not what's going on. Basically, my parents
Bob
saw the scene
Hoskins and Big Bertha.
of Mario like groping at Big Bertha's cleavage to get the rock, and
Uh-huh.
my mom was like, "This movie's inappropriate," and she stopped it, and I didn't get to watch the rest of it. And then one day, like years and years later, it was on the Disney Channel at like 1 a.m. and I stayed up super late to watch the end of it because I'm like, man, I need to know what happens at the end of this movie. I can't believe it aired on TV. Like honestly, that's such a strange.
Look, my first contact with this movie, I'm referring to it like it's a fucking alien. My first contact was uh was a Cinemax because it aired on Cinemax.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever saw this.
I don't even
Jessica, was
know.
this your first time watching the movie?
No, this is not the first time I've
This
seen
was
this
just you
movie.
reliving your repressed memories.
Yeah, I swear to I can't even remember. I think the first and only time prior to, watching it just today, this morning, I had to have been drunk or high because I really just repressed it that much. But I know I watched it as an adult, not as like a kid. So yeah, it just oh man, I think okay, I could agree. It's probably more fun to watch it. It's a fun watch. It's not serious. Like it's not. I mean, it's not good, but it's entertaining. I guess is the best way to put how you put it, Augustine. It's entertaining.
Yeah, so I'd say that as an adaptation, this is like a 1 or a 2 out of 10. As an adaptation, as a film, it's like a 5. It's like average, maybe a 5.5 because it
I
is
mean, honestly, it
memorable
sticks with you. Like it
because it's
sticks
so
with
fucking
you.
weird. Which
I
isn't
know, but there's
always a
something to
good
be said
thing
for that. Because
necessarily.
like I'm thinking of ending things was weird, but it's weird in a way that like 5 years from now they'll be like, "Do you remember that movie with the house and the snow and they go to Dairy Queen?" No, not really. Do you remember
I
Mario?
mean,
Yes.
I think I'll remember the Dairy Queen scene
That was a
for
bit.
being not Dairy Queen, but I don't think I'll remember the rest of that movie. Super
Mhm.
Mario Brothers is like there are multiple like memeable things that I'll remember, like the guy being turned into a chimp, or yeah, and then Dennis Hopper saying monkey, like in that really weird
Oh
fucking
yeah.
voice.
God.
Now I'll
Oh, it's so
remember Bob Hoskins looking on as John Leguizamo makes out with a blonde girl who was hardly in the film. Like
she
honestly,
was in
did
the film
Daisy
a
do
lot.
much in this movie?
Yeah, she did. She attacked Lena. She escaped. She told Mario about Daniela being kidnapped. She was the one that pulled the rock out and unmerged the dimensions. Daisy got a lot to do.
She had more lines in the beginning of
Than
the
she did throughout
movie.
the rest of the
Also,
movie.
she's 20 years old, right? Because it says 20 years later.
Mhm.
And she is
Mm.
running a paleontological site. Paleont. She's running a fossil dig. I'm just gonna say
Mhm.
for NYU. Like, so she's at most like a junior at NYU, like an undergrad, and she's in
Or
charge.
she's so smart she started earlier.
Mhm.
Maybe, maybe, but it seems weird that they put a 20-year-old girl in charge of like a major excavation.
I mean, there's a bunch of movies where what movie the fuck did I just watch the other day? It was like pretty like dark. Um I think it was called The Ruins. It has Jenna Malone in it, but I don't remember the other actors. But like her boyfriend in the movie is like in like medical school, but he's only like 22, and he has all this like medical doctor knowledge because like he has to like cut one of this guy. He has to cut off like the leg of one of these guys that's like infected or whatever. It's it's very gory to say the least. But yeah, I was just like fucking 22. What the fuck? Like
I wouldn't
no.
trust a 22-year-old to operate on me.
Well, you don't really find out he's like 22 till like later down the movie. I'm like, wait a minute,
Yeah,
wait
and
a
he's
minute,
American,
wait a
right?
minute.
He's
Yeah.
American, right? Because I know that in some countries like Chile, you can go to medical school really young, right? Because they start them
Hmm.
so early on their career path,
It
unlike
basically
America.
replaces college. Like you leave high school and you go directly into medical school. Yeah.
Well, it's because the people who wrote the script don't fucking know what they're talking about. They didn't do any research and realize most people are not 22 and in medical school.
But then like the it's an example of another of those weird mismatches in the dialogue where like okay she comes down and says I'm the boss here and Scapelli goes I'm Anthony Scapelli, I'm in charge elsewhere, and it's like is he was probably supposed to say I'm the boss elsewhere, right? Like
Unsure.
it's like it
Yeah.
doesn't quite match up what he says. It's like there's so many examples of that, of the dialogue like being just a little bit off.
The
You,
dialogue, the set design, the costumes, so much doesn't match up in
well, the
this
set
movie.
design and the costumes are way off. They went in their own crazy direction. It's fun.
Well, that's
This
what
is
I mean.
interesting. I'm looking at the list of revisions. Do you want to go through these revisions a little bit?
I mean, yeah, I don't mind. Sure, go
Okay,
ahead.
so fairy tale version gives us the fullest look at what the film could have been like if it were more a direct fantastical adaptation. Mario and Luigi pursue Hildy into hidden worlds reminiscent of The Wizard of Oz or Alice in Wonderland, complete with checkered brick road, tribes of mushroom people, and a King Koopa described as an anthropomorphic dragon. Mario is older and Luigi is still younger and a dreamer. $10 million was spent on development for this script, but the director Greg Beeman, who was attached, his movie Mom and Dad Save the World failed, so he was dismissed. And they got a new team, and they wrote the sci-fi fantasy pitch. So Parker Bennett and Terry Runte, who were a new writers team, came on and had a pitch to transition it from a fantasy world into a more sci-fi type of thing. And that eventually got made into the Ghostbusters script, which they said they tried to make it a little more self-aware. Mario was a sleazier, more confident Bill Murray as Peter Venkman type character. And the first act was much longer and took more time to establish them. And then
Mhm.
they were let go, and Dick Clement and Ian LaFrennay, the writers of Across the Universe and Flushed Away, were brought on to make the movie more mature, more of an action script. And the overall narrative structure remains, but they've introduced a female police officer named Gloria, who later goes on to fill the role of Big Bertha. And there was going to be a cameo of Bruce Willis in Koopa's Tower as a reference to Die Hard, which is why it's called the Die Hard version. And that leads us to the Mad Max draft, the one that we're going to put in the description. And that was the second draft by Jit Clement and Ian LaFrennay. And it was the more mature version. Most significantly, the third act gives Princess Daisy and Leon a more direct involvement in the climactic interdimensional merge. And let me see here. And there is it says it's Mario Kart meets Mad Max. Let me see
There's
here.
only one driving scene though.
I know there was going to be a lot more. It turned out it was expensive. And this also has there's a Mario Golf inspired desert segment. That's what they call it. I don't know. Mario Golf wasn't open at the time.
Mm.
Maybe they mean Mario Kart. But here we go. Mario Golf inspired desert segment in which Koopa systemically purges his political rivals. That sounds like fun, right?
So was this movie just supposed to be a spoof that's what I'm like, it's so confused. It's supposed to be a
It just
spoof
went a
of
bunch of different
Mario
directions.
Brothers?
And they brought on Ed Sullivan to do the
Okay, but look, Connor. Okay, you're
yeah,
you're a- you're you're commissioned to write a script for a Super Mario Brothers movie, right?
yeah.
And you're told it's an adaptation. What would your first instinct be?
Well, it's like a game of telephone because the first script was based on the game, and all the other scripts they gave them the previous script, and they said make this more mature, make this more action oriented, make this more like Die Hard, make this more like Ghostbusters. So like by the time we got to the fifth script, it was a revision of a revision of a revision written by somebody who had actually seen the game.
Okay, so by the point you get, we need to make this more child friendly. Why don't you just throw away the script and start over? Why do
I
you
don't
have
know.
to go?
Well,
Why do you have to?
actually, I can tell you.
Why do
By the
you
time
have
they
to
got to,
base
we
it
have to
on
make
a?
this more.
Go ahead.
By the
Go ahead.
time we got to, you have to make this more child friendly. They had already built the sets and they had already started shooting.
Okay, so you rewrite the script, but with the sets in mind.
They did that. That's why the sets were completely
I
Uh,
bizarre.
don't. I don't think so. I think that they're still basing it off the photocopy of the photocopy of the photocopy of the seventh revision of the script.
There we go. This was the pitch. This was the pitch that they gave for the sci-fi version of the movie. She's the key to finding the meteorite piece to get into our world. She has giant Koopa. She has what Koopa needs to stay in our world: serum magic to revenge his rejection by Daisy's mother, to quell unrest.
Daisy is the key to all this.
Oh God, the original tagline was "Unclogging the world this summer."
Well, that's a pretty terrible tagline.
But I mean, what's interesting is like almost every movie goes through, every big movie goes through this number of rewrites and this amount of changes, and sometimes it ends up good. But for the Mario movie, because there's such dedicated fans out there, we have a record of all of the ideas that were, that were proposed, all the scripts that were written, all the designs that were made. And like it's not unique among Hollywood movies to go through this many revisions, to get changed so many times. But what is unique is having all this information available to us and being able to see like just how a Hollywood movie gets made, how it goes through all these crazy changes, all the things that are considered but never come to be.
I mean, is it that rare though?
It is. I
Because
mean,
movies like Alien 3, like we know all about that. And then you look at Marvel movies they
mm.
get leaked, right? In modern day.
well, yeah, but a Marvel movie is a different beast altogether. And even with the Alien movies, do we have entire scripts? Do we have 5 drafts of the Alien 3 script just available for us to read?
I'm pretty sure that we do. Let me go. I'm gonna Google because I know that we do have the script to the weird wooden planet one, right? Did you ever read that one?
No, I didn't. I've never even seen Alien 3. I found out that Newt died and I was like, I'm not here for that.
Yeah, it's fine to pretend that Alien 3 and
But
Alien
you're wearing your
Resurrection don't
alien goggles
exist.
all the time. You could see Lance Henriksen in real life and be like, "Is this a reference to aliens?"
No, I'd be like, "Hey, you did hey," or no, actually, you know what? I wouldn't even say hi. He can just live his life.
He'd be like, "Hello, my name's Lance Henriksen, and I've gotten a
No,
little
no,
bit lost."
if he wants to say hello to me for some reason, I'll be like, "Oh, hey, Lance Henriksen.
He'll
You're
be
you're
like,
I love your work," and I'd leave it at that.
"I seem to have gotten me lorry turned around on the roundabout. Could you give me directions?" And then you go, "Sick alien reference, Lance." He'd be like, I'm not referencing the film Aliens that I was in. I'm just lost and I would like directions." Oh, just like the characters in Aliens got lost. Good one, Lance.
No, Connor, I feel like you're projecting what you would actually do.
No, that's you. I'm not the one that thinks Lance Henriksen existing is a reference to aliens.
No, I think him being used in this fucking movie was just because they're referencing it, but
No,
they didn't know how
no,
to do
he's
it
just an
properly.
actor that was in the movie.
But why get Lance Henriksen?
Okay, like when John Hurt was in Spaceballs, right? And he's like the aliens bursting out of
Okay,
his chest. He
that
goes,
is
he goes,
okay.
"Not again." That's a reference.
Okay.
That's a reference. Him
No,
just showing up.
that's a direct reference in a comedy film. So,
But like,
yeah,
I don't see what about
that's
it is a reference.
Spaceballs.
They cast him because he was a famous
The
actor who
the
probably
weird
auditioned.
the weird creepy goo. The fungi.
That's fungus. The alien goo was like their
It
like
doesn't matter that it's fungus. They made it look like the alien queen
doesn't look
sack and all that
anything like the
garbage.
alien queen sack. The alien queen sack was way gooier and it was a
Okay,
different
I'm gonna get a photo.
color.
Xenomorph Hive.
Jessica, do you think that Lance Henriksen, the actor who was in Aliens, showing up in this movie is a reference? Like, is it a reference to Hoosiers that they cast Dennis Hopper as King Koopa? Is it a reference to friggin' Pink Floyd's The Wall that they cast Bob Hoskins as Mario?
I don't have a stake in this fight. I just want to shit on the movie.
It's just like actors from other movies showing up is not a reference to those movies. That's
I
insane.
mean,
Well, it
I
can
could
be depending
argue
on their
that,
use.
having Bob Hoskins in here was just referencing Roger Rabbit dealing with kooky
Well, even
animated
then, like
bullshit.
he's doing the same accent that he did in Roger Rabbit. Like I can
He
see that.
is.
But like
Mhm.
Lance Henriksen literally just shows up, says, "I'm back. Love those plumbers," and then leaves. Like that's all the Lance
I'm
Henriksen we
not
get.
saying it's a good reference.
If he took a knife and started doing that thing with the knife between his fingers, I'd be like, "Oh, what a reference to Alien." Oh, a little
This
kitten's coming to
movie
join me.
has so many things. So many
I
things.
know. Let's talk about some of our favorite things about the movie.
They did.
What's I know, but let's talk about some of our least favorite things.
um, I just hate movies that make women just. I think I've already said my annoyances on like over sexualizing the women and just
But it's
that
kind
it
of it's a downplay
therefore.
over sexualization. Okay, so here's the stuff from Alien. Is this actually from the movie or is this like a piece of art?
That's art, but it's basically what it's done in the
I mean, I
how.
guess the stretchiness is similar, but
And then let's go to the fucking goo shit right here from Super Mario Brothers. Okay, one sec.
oh,
No, go ahead and talk while
I
while
wanted
I
to bring up, okay, so at the beginning, Iggy and Spike are trying to blend in the human world and they're doing like a terrible job. And do you remember they
Mhm.
buy hot dogs and he goes, "They say it's dog." And then they throw away the buns and just eat the hot dogs. I mean, there's only so many ways you can do weird goo. But when we get to Dino Hatton, they have like little lizards on a stick in hot dog buns that people are eating. So like they have hot dog buns in Dino Hatton. Why do Iggy and Spike not know what they are?
You act like this script was like finalized to perfection.
like they gave it a
I'm
lot
just
of thought.
saying.
Connor, I feel like you gave this movie script more thought than anyone who ever wrote it.
Augustine, you say that, but if I spent $10 million just developing a script, I would give it some fucking thought. They were 10 million in the hole by the time they got the first draft
No,
of the
I'm
script
not
done.
I'm not saying that they okay, I'm saying that the actual people who wrote the script didn't give it to okay. You know what? Go ahead and say what you're gonna say about your 10 million. I
Oh,
need
they
to
were 10
gather my
million in the hole
thoughts.
by the time they finished the first draft of the script. That's like the project was already in trouble before they were even done writing it. Yeah. And it's just like if you're getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to write a script, you do care about stuff like hot dog buns being featured and then being featured again later in the movie as a gag. And it's like there's a lot of
Okay.
attention paid to every little part of a movie like this.
All right. So what I'm really saying is they did a terrible fucking job.
They did. And like, why do Iggy and Spike have such trouble fitting in the human world when we go to the dinosaur world? And even though everybody wears fetish gear all the time, it's otherwise not very different, you know?
All
Also,
right. So
Spike
wait,
mentions having an ex-wife.
I
I
would I
see a bunch
yeah.
of female Koopas, unless he
Well,
didn't marry a
there
Koopa. I
there
don't
are a lot
even
of.
know.
Why would he marry a Koopa? He is a Koopa. That would be inbreeding, I
Or
guess.
I don't know,
Wait, why
like
would it be inbreeding if they're the same species?
No, they're
species.
not.
Yeah.
That's like saying
Koopa's not a
humans breeding
species.
with humans.
Koopa's not a species in this movie. Koopa is just a family. Like Lena is not a Koopa. Lena is one of the dinosaur people, but she and Koopa are a couple.
Wait,
I don't understand.
wait, so wait, so Daisy's a descendant of the dinosaurs,
Yeah,
right?
she hatches from an egg. We see it.
But
Yeah.
her dad devolved into a fungi,
Yeah,
a
well, you
fungus.
eventually devolve into primordial ooze if you get devolved long enough. And I guess fungus is just the last step before primordial ooze. I'm not sure.
that doesn't really make any
It just made
sense.
me think that they're mushroom people who evolved into humanoids.
That's the thing. Like, they really ought to be mushroom people. Like,
That's what I was assuming when he was going to when he was devolving Toad, I thought he was gonna devolve into a fucking mushroom, but that was not the
Well, here's a
case.
thought. We know that she was hatched from a dinosaur egg, right? Maybe her mom was a dinosaur person, and her dad was a mushroom person.
I guess, but
And she's
you
like half
know,
mushroom, half dinosaur
I
on her
think that
mother's side.
I think that no one no one gave a shit, and that's
Did you
the
notice
actual
that
solution.
when the queen was running away at the beginning, she was wearing one of the Goomba troopers' jackets?
so she had
She presumably
relations.
stole it from a Goomba? No, what where
What is
why
it?
does your mind go there? Why does your mind go
She
there?
had an entanglement with a Goomba.
If you wear someone's jacket, it doesn't mean Jesus. And you're over here talking about how the movie is too sexual, and then you're coming up with this shit. Like, come on.
Well, like, why wear the jacket? I mean, there's
Well,
no other explanation.
presumably she
There
was
are other
sneaking out or
explanations,
she was
though.
hiding. I don't know. I kind of wish we got a
Maybe
little more
maybe
on
she
that.
felt cold, so she asked one of the others to just give her a jacket.
Why
That
didn't she
seems
just wear
reasonable.
fucking latex since all the other fucking women were wearing latex or granny clothes, either
Oh
or,
yeah.
you know?
The old lady who was just like, "You boys really shouldn't be out here without a weapon."
Okay, one of my favorite moments though is when Lena gets shocked and she just turns into a skeleton.
Yeah, and they go, "She certainly left an impression." And this is after she gets electrocuted and gets like Bride of Frankenstein hair. Like a lot of punishment for Lena in this movie.
I mean, she stabbed Yoshi, so I mean, I don't
She
really
did. And
care.
like, okay,
Fine.
like the weird and clumsy plotting of like, okay, she gets the rock at the nightclub. She tries to tell Koopa about it. He doesn't listen, so she decides she's gonna go and merge the dimensions on their own. Koopa stops her from doing it for some reason. Gets the rock back and then says, "Okay, you can release Lena now." So Lena betrayed him, but he just lets her go. And then she gets the rock again at the end of the movie, goes back to the subway, and then merges the dimensions. And it's like I really feel like they had footage already shot of her like taking the rock and going there, and then they wanted to try and reshuffle it, so they did reshoots. Like that, in my mind, is the only way that makes any sense.
Written scripts, reshoots,
Well, 'cause, like,
They
re-edits.
should have just reshot the whole movie.
happens and then
Thank you.
unhappens and rehappens. I don't know. And then like she mentions that Iggy and Spike were pronouncing his down throw at the Boom Boom Bar to Koopa, and that was supposed to be the rap song that they sang. But unfortunately that got cut because the dancers behind them were too sexy. You know who would have really fit in this movie is Bowsette.
I don't even want to get into that.
But like her like leather outfit with the spikes, like that would have been completely at home in this world.
Dennis, no, it's Dennis Hopper playing Bowsette.
Oh my god. You know what we do is we like put Dennis Hopper's face on one sec though. There's a picture
Oh,
here.
you know what? I'm just, you know what? We that should be the thumbnail.
Dennis Hopper's face on Bowsette.
Just say screw it, fuck it.
One sec, Command Shift 4. I'm just gonna share with you a picture, and one of the dancers actually kind of has a Bowsette look going on. And you see her briefly in the movie. She's one of the only dancers that actually made it into the finished film. But the one on the left with the tail.
I mean, it just still looks like a stripper in latex
I
with
mean,
the
so does
around.
Bowsette. So does Bowsette. And that's kind of like a Bowsette look. Like you give that woman horns and maybe you dye her hair red. You know,
No, you make
you
a
got Bowsette.
sequel. You make a sequel to this movie, but since Dennis Hopper's character, okay, since Dennis Hopper died in this movie, basically, the main villain of the sequel is Bowsette.
I mean, could somebody gather up all that sludge and re-evolve it back into Dennis Hopper?
No, re-evolve into Bowsette.
Oh yeah, re-evolve into Bowsette. It's like, well, it didn't quite work, but oh
But
my
I guess
gosh,
you're back, President Koopa.
yeah. And he calls himself King Koopa a couple times, so they were really kind of iffy on whether he was a king or a president. God, Larry Lazard, remember his disguise? He says he's from Lazard, Condadactyl, and Cohen. So like, are there Jewish people in Dino Hatton?
I would assume so. I mean, since
Why
this
would
movie
you
doesn't
assume
make
that?
any sense anyway, so let's just throw in well, they're just Jewish dinosaurs.
Because
Why not?
everybody
Who
everybody else
cares?
has like dinosaur themed names, Condadactyl, Lazard, and then this guy's just Cohen. It's like I know that's the joke, but like why? Keep going. Iggy and Spike, who are presumably Iggy Koopa and Spike Koopa.
I mean, we had a bunch of like New York stereotypes already in there.
Well, that can be explained because remember, he's deliberately trying to recreate New York in the Mushroom Kingdom. He
Mhm.
probably made everybody do Brooklyn accents.
Well, so then why wouldn't there be Jewish people then in Jewish dinosaurs, not people,
That's true,
excuse
but he
me.
really got a
Jewish
good idea of New York from his like 5 minutes there chasing the queen.
that we technically, didn't know.
Yeah,
We
we
just
didn't know
all
about that.
assume that
I can't
his
But
believe
like
we've been talking
empire
about
was
this.
Attila the Hun.
Okay, our podcast episode is longer than the fucking movie.
Well, I think that's a testament to how much we have to say. But Attila the Hun, when he saw Rome, he tried to recreate Roman baths in his own kingdom because he was so impressed by their technology. So it's kind of a
Okay.
similar thing to that. And then he went on to go on to try to conquer Rome. Went on to go on. Jeez, he went on to try and conquer Rome. So it's very similar what's going on with Koopa. He's in the tradition of Attila the Hun. He's trying to recreate what he feels is a superior civilization. And remember when he gets there, he's like, "It's Brooklyn, my world." Like he thinks that he belongs in the real world. He doesn't feel like he belongs in the Mushroom Kingdom. And by contrast, Daisy never felt like she belonged in the real world. And she's supposed to feel more at home in the Mushroom Kingdom, but she certainly doesn't seem like it.
Wait, that doesn't make sense though, because they are originally from our dimension. So wouldn't they feel more at
They
home in
weren't
our
originally.
dimension?
Their ancient evolutionary ancestors were from our dimension. It's been 65 million years.
Yeah, I guess, but
And like you
you
have
know
to
what?
subscribe to the
Doesn't
theory
even matter. Doesn't
that
matter.
like bipeds are the ultimate expression of evolution to believe that the parallel evolution of two completely distinct branches of animals led to the same basic humanoid shape. You have to consider humanity as like the pinnacle of evolution. It's the same theory that would lead to the thought that aliens would be humanoid as well. That we're the most efficient form that a fully evolved creature can eventually take.
Okay, I don't think
be
they thought about
biased
this.
though because, as humans, like we see ourselves as the most intellectual creatures on the planet. So
I know
isn't
we're
that already
very
biased
biased.
in thinking?
We're very biased to think. Did you notice there were some like actual lizard people and there were some just regular people in Dino Hatton?
Mhm.
So like
Oh.
just there were a couple lizard
Do
people
you
in the
think
background.
that somebody watched this movie and they're like anti-evolution because they think this is how evolution works?
God, that is something that I love is that in the early 90s evolution was so uncontroversial that they could just like randomly talk about it in this movie without it being a thing. Like did you see
Well, they
Man?
got it completely wrong, but yeah,
I
sure.
know, but it was like it was so ingrained in people's minds like yeah, evolution. Where in
Do you think somebody there was like a Christian boycott of this movie?
that's just
Like
it
the
like
local Christian church is
I
just in Ohio is like this movie is promoting evolution.
I feel like
Instead of like
anti-science
sex and
sentiments
violence, sure,
kinda
why
Uh-huh.
caught
not?
on. I mean, there's definitely a lot of sex in this movie, but it's all on the periphery. Everybody in a sexy
It's
costume
all
is like
it all happened in a deleted scene.
well, yeah, everyone in a sexy costume is like just barely on screen and we don't really see them. And then like the one girl who's in her workout clothes is just kind of in the background. You know, like all the sexy stuff is just going on just over there. You know, over there. We're focusing on the middle-aged man going on an adventure. The part where they both fall and he goes, "Are you okay?" And Mario goes, "Okay, you're the one without the padding." And then Luigi goes, "Yeah, well, you're the old one." So Mario just did like a self-deprecating thing where he called himself fat, and Luigi responded by calling him old.
Because Mario's
Luigi doesn't
24, folks.
Luigi doesn't understand self-deprecation.
Yeah, Luigi is just.
Otherwise, he would have done it for himself instead of just insulting his brother
I mean,
again.
can we talk about the fact that Luigi is kind of a fuckboy in this movie?
I mean, yeah,
Uh,
sure.
Like when he goes on a date with Daisy, and it's like they found iridium. He goes like, "That's incredible," and then like she goes to like show him her paleontological finds at the dig site, where she has uncovered full, complete fossilized remains of dinosaurs, which is unheard of. Just completely
It's
all assembled
amazing,
like a
yes.
medical skeleton. And he goes,
Impressive.
she like tries to explain her find, and it's like it's beautiful, and he doesn't even look at the dinosaurs. Just looks at her and goes, "You're beautiful." It's just,
You think that was just him being really drunk in real life? He
maybe.
forgot his line.
And then like, okay, when the pipes are leaking, they're like, "You know what to do. You're a plumber, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, I know exactly what to do." And then they just go ask Mario for
Go
help. You see, he
Mario.
doesn't know shit. Like what
That's
he
why
knows to
he's
do is go
20.
ask his
That's
brother to do
why
it for him.
that's why I assume that Luigi didn't go to college. He's just like a 29-year-old man who's still an apprentice, like
You put
10
him at
years later.
29. I think he's like 20. He's like the same age as the princess.
No, but John Leguizamo was 29 when the movie was made.
Oh, okay. How old was Samantha Mathis?
No, he was like 28. No, he would have been 29 because he was born in 64.
Oh, 64.
Yeah.
It's like Mario 64. And Luigi
Goodness.
wasn't in that
Oh
movie.
no. Oh no. It's all connected.
It's all connected. L is real 2401. Can we talk about the one guy in the
No, no,
picture?
no. Mario 64 2 is actually Luigi 64
Oh man.
with John Leguizamo voicing Luigi.
Oh, the Boom Boom Bar. Boom Boom is the enemy that you fight halfway through the world in Super Mario Brothers 3.
Boom boom.
Yeah, he goes boom boom, and you have to jump on him 3 times, and you get
I
the
wish this movie had gone boom boom for
wow.
release.
This film, just this picture of the Boom Boom Bar. We need to put this in the video or something. Everybody is wearing like vinyl leather fetish gear. This one person like standing directly under the triangle light with like the sunglasses just looks like he doesn't want to be there. You know,
Okay, Connor, how would you feel if somebody re-edited this movie into an episode of Twin Peaks: The Return?
I mean, I don't know how they do it, but it's kind of fitting. I mean, 1993 was around when Firewalk with Me came out, right?
Like a year later, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of fitting. I could see them like instead of the bar at the end of the episode, they just go to the Boom Boom Bar, and instead of the 9-inch nails, it's it's George Clinton doing his cover of Walk the Dinosaur. This is the thing, like Walk the Dinosaur references Miami Vice. So do they have Miami Vice on TV in the world of Dino Hatton?
Uh,
I lost
Sorry, I
you.
was like reading the script a little bit.
Oh yeah, what part of the script are you at right now?
Where fuck, I lost my place.
Oh no.
Some,
But yeah.
some something about fucking music music kicks in. Hard driving contemporary.
Oh
Okay,
man, that hard driving contemporary.
on page 35, it says ahead of them sits a lard-ass barrel of guts sergeant behind a booking desk as big as a Union Station.
That is not how the sergeant ended up looking. He was like this skinny little dude with a mustache. Yeah. And like if you love this script, don't worry, there's 6 more versions of the goddamn website. Oh, that's the part. Also, apparently their money was coupons and not Koopa coins.
Why did they decide to give Mario speaking roles?
I mean, it would have been weird if they made a whole movie and he never talked. Like,
Yeah,
Would
that'd
it
be pretty
though?
weird.
Would it make it that much weirder
I mean,
than what it
Oh,
already is?
he's just mute, and Luigi
Hmm,
has to talk on his behalf.
well,
yeah.
Luigi is mute when he's a main character, but then he can talk when he's a supporting character. I have a
Hmm.
little kitty cat with me here. His name's Jack. Hello, Jack. Oh, he's crawling away from me. Oh, he's crawling. We can cut this out, right? Ah, whatever. Oh my god, Lena, that was incredible. Now, let's have sex. Page 36 of the script.
Oh my
Wait,
god.
what?
At the bottom of page 36.
Bottom
Koopa
page
takes a
36.
hit from an ornate curved pipe. He walks to the window and looks
Oh
down
no.
philosophically. How does one look down philosophically?
God. It's like, I didn't ask you to build me a harem. Film.
So is he doing drugs? Like what's going on?
You believe everything you read at the checkout counter. Maybe Elvis is in the same tank. Oh, God.
So this
Something
is
about
which version
sport.
of the script was this?
This is the Mad Max version. This was the second draft by the writing team of Dick Clement and Ian LaFrennay. And this is the one that got the actors to sign on, they say. This is the one actors saw and they thought it was good, and they signed on. And then by the time they showed up, it was like a completely different script.
So this was supposed to be like for adults.
Uh,
This move, just based off of like the dialogue and or
And this
the
the fact that they talk about sex at one point, they
that's what I
reference it.
mean, like the
Yeah.
dialogue, like that's great. Let's have straight to the point, no
so
filter, no
the next script
implication.
Oh,
had
thank
quotes
God we didn't see
from
Dennis Hopper bang anybody.
the second script was, or the draft after this one was more practical, and it said key scenes rewritten with a leaner budget in mind. Desert segment was removed. The climatic battle on the Brooklyn Bridge was written out. Koopa is de-evolved off screen in that version of the script because they didn't have the money. Yeah.
Like just the way that whoever wrote this like script is describing people, redneck construction workers. Jesus.
I mean that's what a redneck is. You're out there all day. You get a suntan on your neck.
I would
Oh wait,
disagree that it's just rednecks that are in construction,
no, but
but
that's where the term comes from, I think.
And I'm
Although
assuming
I've
this
also
guy
heard
has an
that
accent of some sort.
they wore red bandanas to symbolize they were with the Union. Was the original redneck? I don't know. I've heard different things.
just
Oh
like
yeah, the
who
red scarf, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, it just seems very like sleazy, like the way that the whoever's writing, whoever the script in the description, like for example, a beautiful girl walks into the sunlight. It's a Madonna-like image. Madonna-like for fucking Da Vinci or fucking
Madonna like the Virgin
Madonna
Mary.
with like the fucking cone boobs. Like what are we
Oh no, you
talking
know what?
about
That's true.
here?
I'm actually not sure now if they're referencing
They're
Madonna like
definitely
the
referencing
statues.
Madonna, like
The artist, not the musician, right?
no, they're referencing the
Singer.
Virgin Mary. Don't-
No, but I can see them interpreting it as Madonna the singer though.
It just uh,
Okay, well, regardless, the script still doesn't seem that great,
Oh, now
so
this is interesting. Go to page 71. The conversations with Bertha, the part where Mario goes, "Your main man, your ram a dame, your can of spam." That was Spike's line. They gave Spike's lines to Mario.
that's pretty weird.
Yeah. No woman can resist the charm of a Mario. He immediately gets punched in the face. Like, would you hit me again the way your knuckles came together when they collided into my face? I've never seen anything like it. Like honestly, I'm shipping Bertha and Mario. I feel like they're a better couple
I
than
ship
Mario and
it
probably
too.
Daniela.
Agree.
Yeah.
I'm for it
And she looks so
100%.
hurt when he runs away with the meteorite piece. But then she helps him like 5 seconds later.
I
And
feel
she's like,
like
over
this
here, pudgy buns. She kisses him.
you know who wrote this? Someone like a 13-year-old who does fanfic. That's what this is giving me
It's like,
vibes.
was she corpulent? Very corpulent? No, but she was real round.
Oh goodness.
That friggin' and then like the way he's talking about square roots after he gets evolved, I think that might be a reference to what the Scarecrow says after he gets his diploma in Wizard of Oz. That's a bit of a stretch though. Not as much of a stretch as Lance Henriksen being a reference to it, but it's a bit of a stretch.
That's not my fight. I'm staying out of it.
I'm
Right.
looking this up.
Looking what up?
Why was Lance Henriksen in the fucking
Oh.
I
movie?
mean, why is any actor in any movie they get cast? They probably audition. I know that the king was added like last minute, like which is why he just magically turns back with no explanation at all. I feel like test audience were like, but what happened to the king?
The
Probably.
novelization of the film refers to Daisy's father as King Bowser.
That's just confusing. Like genuinely very confusing.
In the webcomic sequel, they changed it to Reznor.
Well, yeah. You know, Reznor was actually a reference to Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails. It was in keeping with all of the Koopalings having music references in their names. Like Iggy was a reference to Iggy Pop. And Wendy was a reference to Wendy O. Williams, not to be confused with Wendy Williams. And of course, I think Ludwig von Koopa is the obvious one. That's Ludwig von Beethoven. The two outliers are Larry, who is not named after anyone in particular, and Koopa Jr., who's named after Morton Downey Jr., the talk show host.
You're still
So
trying to find that information.
what?
Yeah, I'm still looking for it.
Oh, and can we surmise from the fact that Morton Koopa Jr. is King Koopa's son that King Koopa's real name is actually not Bowser, but Morton Koopa, and Bowser's like a
Mm.
nickname. But then later on, they said that the Koopalings are not actually his children. Like Miyamoto just said, the current story is that they're not his children. Like there was no attempt to do any sort of retcon or explanation. They're just like, no, the story's different now, which I can respect that.
I don't know. I just assumed that the Koopas were just like a different like species from the Toads and the different species from the
They
Goombas.
are
So
in the
now,
games. They are in
okay,
the games. It's just the movies where
it's just this
everyone's
movie
the
where
same type of dinosaur person. Like, because in the games, yeah, they're totally different. Like the Koopas are the turtles, but then in addition to the Koopas being the turtles, there's also like the Koopalings who are, as far as I can tell, direct relatives of Bowser specifically. Like
mm,
Wendy and Roy and Iggy. Have you played any of the games where the Koopalings showed up?
I don't think so. Let me
They
check.
were in Mario Brothers 3 and Mario World, and then they just disappeared for like 20 some years until they showed up again in New Super Mario Brothers Wii. They're in Mario Kart. They're all just like there's Wendy. Like you said, there's very few female Koopas. There's one that I think we've ever seen, and it's Wendy.
You can tell because she wears a bow.
And she got lip filler or something.
So it's not. So it's not. Was
Like,
that
why
one
did we see
game?
Wendy? Because if you look at Wendy O. Williams, who Wendy Koopa was named after, she would fit right in the world of the Mario movie. Let me just find you a picture of her.
Wait a minute. Then in like it's one of the I don't forget which one features it. It's one of the Mario parties. It's like Koopa Troopa Jr. That's
Oh,
not a
The
descendant
Koopa
of
Kids.
the Koopa Kids. Thank you.
They
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
are weirdly distinct from the Koopa Kids we've seen in other games. Nobody knows quite how they fit in. One of them refers to
Mm,
Bowser as his dad once, I think, but
yeah.
and they're not Bowser Jr. and they're not the Koopa Kids. Anyway, this is what Wendy O. Williams looks like, and you look at her and you tell me that she wouldn't have fit right in the movie.
Yeah.
And there was already a Koopaling named after her. I mean, they could have made it happen.
It could have made a lot of things happen with this movie.
They could have. Honestly, it's like a surprisingly adult reference to have put into Super Mario Brothers 3 to name one of the Koopalings after her. And you might say, "Oh, people won't get it," but like Wendy O. Koopa, like how many people named Wendy O are there in the world?
At least famously, that is true.
Yeah. You can't tell me that
Super.
all of her various ridiculous stage outfits don't look exactly like costumes from this movie.
I mean, yeah, but
I don't think anybody was even quite so revealing in the movie, but still.
well, because you said they just cut everything out.
Well, yeah, they did. But even then, I don't think anybody was just straight up tape over.
No.
And she was the thing. She was a punk rocker, as
Hmm.
opposed to Roy Orbison, who was, as far as I can tell, just a man that wore sunglasses. But yeah, the various Koopas are all named after real people. Bowser emphatically is not named after any sort of real person.
Hmm.
Mario was named after a real person. I don't know if we ever got into that. Were you aware of that?
No.
Oh, Mario Segale. He was the landlord for Nintendo of America in the 80s. They owed a lot of back rent to him, and he came in to like scream at everybody. And sort of as a conciliatory gesture, they said, "Well, we're going to name a video game character after you."
Wow.
Yeah, and
I
at the
hope
point,
he got his royalty.
he did not. He said in an interview, "I'm still waiting on my royalties." And the thing is,
I wish he'd said, "I'm still waiting on my back rent."
Right?
oh yeah, I don't know if he ever got that. And the thing is, like, the character was just called Jumpman at first because he was a man who jumped, and then like to try and appease the landlord, they said, "Now his name is Mario." And like at first, the story was he looked like Mario, but then you see a picture of this guy, he looks nothing like Mario. Like he didn't even have a mustache apparently, but they just wanted him to not kick them out of the warehouse. But every story you see about this dude, he's a mobster. Like he 100% is. because they talk about how he works with the Segali family and they run most of the construction projects in Tukwila, Washington. There's very few known photographs of him, and his friends describe him as quote intensely private and very Italian. And he has he's behind over $90,000 in political donations to various local politicians in Tukwila. He's behind almost all of the major construction projects in that town.
Mm.
And he even said, I don't like to talk about my connection with Mario because I feel it would bring me too much attention and it might hurt my business. That's what he said in an interview. So
Interesting.
the man's a mobster. Like you can't tell me. I know you're like, Connor, not every Italian person is a mobster. I know, but Mario Segali is a mobster.
I mean, the way he talks about not wanting any attention for his business does kind of make
Yeah.
me think,
There's like
That is
two
a
known
little
photographs of this man.
shady.
You would think you would want more attention for your business, you know?
And
Like, hey,
to
I'm
still
named
get your
after,
royalties.
yeah,
Hey.
Mario's named after me.
There we go. It's like a double image. It's like a mirror, right?
Oh my god, my cat just spilled their food everywhere.
Oh no. Oh no. What a bad
Oh,
cat. What a bad girl.
he's a
Like,
butt cheek at the
before they
least.
found these pictures of him as an old man, this was the only known photograph of Mario Segali that I'm sending right now.
Where's his mustache?
He might have had one at one point, but he didn't have one in any of the photos we have of him.
Maybe he
Okay.
only grew a mustache at the time, and then after Mario got big, he's like, fuck, and he just shaved again.
Yeah.
It's
And it's like there's a
possible.
lot of like liar pictures online of like this is him and it's some guy that looks like Mario, but no.
So Mario is not a friendly neighborhood plumber.
I guess
He's a
not. But he does
mobster.
deal with a lot of shit though, so I'm assuming.
He's a mobster. That's hilarious.
I mean, we don't know for sure, but he's dead now, so it's not like he's gonna sue us.
His family could sue,
Alleged.
so we'll just say that this is all
Allegedly.
conjecture.
This is
Connor
all
is
alleged.
alleging these things.
Now this is
All
interesting.
alleged.
There's a completely unrelated man named Mario Segali who definitely looks a lot more like Mario, but he went mysteriously missing shortly after some books came out that were supposed to be a tell-all about his life in organized crime.
Oh boy.
This is what happens when you Google, but like this guy, this is not the same Mario Segali, but you look at this guy, and it's definitely more of a resemblance.
Wow. Yes, it is.
But
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
definitely looks more like Mario.
he published tell-all novels about his life in organized crime and then mysteriously disappeared. But the fact that there's a dude with the same name who emphatically was a gangster kind of prickles my suspicions about the Washington Mario Segali.
All
Alleged
right.
conspiracy
Oh
theory.
yes,
Somebody stole someone else's
this is
identity.
just Connor's conspiracy theory.
Oh yeah, but can you imagine if they actually
No
got him
proof.
to be in the Mario movie in 1993?
That would have been great. That would have been great. They should have gone in the original to cameo.
Yeah,
All
but then
right, well,
Luigi. Hmm?
oh wait, go ahead.
I was just gonna say he's not named after a real person, but there's kind of a multi-level pun going on with his name.
All
Mario
right, well,
Mario.
on that note, I want to go get some lunch. We've been here for like 3 hours.
Okay. All right. Can I just say
So,
what the pun is so we don't leave our
yes,
viewers
go
hanging?
ahead. Go
The
ahead.
Japanese word Luigi means similar, and then Luigi is also an Italian name, so it's a name like an Italian name, but also because he's similar to Mario, he's a copy of Mario. His name is Luigi.
Poor Luigi. Just getting shit on.
Yeah.
Except
Poor
in this
Luigi.
movie,
Yeah, in
he's
this
a
movie he gets the
hero.
girl, he gets a sexy shirtless scene. He gets it's the good lines. I'm Luigi Mario. You got a problem with that? So, just in conclusion, I think we all strongly recommend this movie. All of us.
I strongly recommend people watch it, but just to see it, just to be able to say I saw this. And it's not a
And
horrible movie. It's entertaining enough, but it's not a good movie.
and being
Definitely not.
intoxicated is highly encouraged.
Just like Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo were. You got to get as wasted as they were while they were making the movie.
I'd
All right.
recommend watching this movie sober and facing reality.
Connor recommends a lot of things involving this movie, though. So,
Like watching it,
like watching it and obsessing over it for like 25 years or whatever.
reading the script.
Sure, read the script if you want. I'll link it in the description.
Honestly, I think that other Mario Segali was just some nonsense fan fiction that somebody wrote online. Forget about him. The first photos, that's the real Mario Segali.
You know what? It might be. It's possible. Who knows? Okay. Well, on that note, yeah, that's the end of the episode. Our next episode is going to be on what Disney live action, right?
Yeah, I mean, do we have to watch all the Disney live action remakes for
No,
that?
actually, can we? I want to shit on Disney, but can we do it on the Star Wars movies, the new ones, the new trilogy?
Oh, do you want to
Yeah,
just do it on that instead of the live action?
No,
I'm
we'll
okay
do
with
live
that.
action later, but I feel like I have more to say about the
sorry.
sequel trilogy, and also it's only 3 movies instead of however many live
Yeah, it's
action
true.
Disney
I
movies
mean,
there
I've
are.
seen Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast, but there's also like Jungle Book, Lion King, Dumbo,
And we don't have to
Mulan.
watch all of them.
Like,
We
how
can
is
Yeah.
just
Lion King live action if all the characters are animated?
I have
It's just
so
like
many opinions.
it's
Oh,
yeah.
you
just a
don't even get
worse
me
animated
started.
version. Billy Eichner is Timon. Honestly, that's kind of good
Uh,
casting, but still.
Oh, no, 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 no. No.
You don't
We
like
will
Billy
wait till
Eichner?
next. No, no, no. That's not what I'm saying. We will just wait till next time to
All right,
discuss.
so next time will either be Star Wars or it'll be Disney live action or it will be both. But yeah, I'm leaning towards Star Wars right now. So yeah, that's the end of the episode. All right,
Bye,
bye-bye.
everybody.
Bye
Trust the
everyone.
Kisses.
fungus. Trust the
Yes,
Later.
fungus.
place your trust in the
Until
fungus.
until next time.
Until
Trust the fungus.
next week. All right. Bye.